things. I'm like, and I know like he doesn't have the crazy internet. I'm like, I know like the guy just is a
I'm sure he's
huge soul boy,
exaggerated.
like, dude,
Is the name Retro
I'm
Death?
telling you. I was like, the
Wow.
game is over 100 gigs.
Damn,
Like, there's
already.
no way.
Yeah, I did.
Is
And
1,000, or
then-
excuse me, is a gig up and down a real thing in this country?
Yeah. No.
However, has like 800, 900 up and down megabytes, so that's almost a gig.
I mean, if I had it connected, you know, like through
Wait, you mean
actually
as
Ethernet.
wireless? What the fuck?
I just heard that and it sounded.
I
like
can't, man.
unbelievable
Hey,
to me.
look, I can't. What's it called? I'm not the owner of the house.
Damn.
Not the
Homeowner?
Not the owner of the house, yo.
English is
Not the owner of
hard.
the house, yo. So,
But yeah, I have
can't,
heard.
you know.
I watched a couple of reviews, and they said that downloads are fast. Not just because, I don't know, that's got the Wi-Fi 6, which I don't know how many routers actually have that yet. But you know, just the write speed to the hard drives are so much faster, so you can actually get your full download speed or closer to it with write
So it'd
speeds.
be like if I were to download something on PC.
Probably.
Pretty much.
And I would assume it'd be comparable, if maybe a little quicker. I'm not sure. But yeah, I forget who it was. They had like I think it was like a 15, 20 gig game, said it downloaded in like, it was like 5 minutes or something like that. It was pretty quick. But anyway, what's up, everybody?
Yeah, it's pretty-
We're going to be a crew of 5, periodically clocked it. We forgot to talk about it last week because we just got so caught up in the discussion. He's going to just do them whenever he feels, has the energy and stuff. He's just, staying up late, and his wife has to put headphones on because he's trying to be quiet as best he could. So yeah, he won't see Clocked It as much, unfortunately, but he will be on here from time to time.
Clockjet told me to tell
RIP.
everyone that he's gonna miss you guys and that he really loves EA.
I hate you.
and Capcom and
It's
Ubisoft.
fucked up.
So
We're already putting words in this man's mouth. There's been one fucking ain't even an episode yet.
but
So
you know,
happens when you don't show up.
he's gonna listen to these now, and he's so now we can give him some shit, and he'll be typing comments.
I heard him. Yeah, I heard him say that the Panzer Dragoon saga apparently isn't as good as he remembered.
Oh yeah, yep.
We're not doing this. Yeah.
And
Y'all
Shenmue,
started legit now.
he thought Shenmue was didn't age at all. Shenmue 1 and 2 have not aged.
So quick. Damn.
We know him so well, he's gonna hate it. But
This is what happens. You leave.
You leave and you get bastardized all of a sudden. What the heck? Shit.
But anyway, I should make an episode of Back at the Backlog because I find I actually got a game off my backlog for the first time in a
Nice,
long
nice.
time. I played
Sweet.
Marvel Spider-Man pretty much nonstop all last week. Went from like
Yeah, you did.
30% complete to I don't know. I was like 80, I think, at the end. I didn't get everything, of course. It's just too much to.
Still a lot.
But
Still a lot.
I'm not gonna say I love the game, but I definitely got a little bit better. I don't know if the early missions, the pacing and something in the beginning just wasn't working for me. I did get all the backpacks like immediately, so maybe I just kind of, if I would have sprinkled that in between some of the missions, I probably might have enjoyed it more. But
That's the thing I didn't like about the game is that I did the same thing. Like the second you could get all the backpacks, I did the same thing, and you have them like pretty fast. But then near the end of the game, and you keep unlocking that shit, and it's done way too sporadically that you just feel like bored in the beginning.
yeah, I wish I would have, like I said, spaced that out. But it's a good. The story, is interesting. It's a fun story, or it's not terrible in any way. And the combat, once I just accepted it, I just kind of made it work. 'Cause the enemies get a little bit tougher, then you actually have to dodge.
I
a
just
lot
feel
more.
like they become bullet sponges. Like they become
Yeah.
sponges. Those.
And I
Like
hate.
I remember there was a time where I would take on one guy. It's one single guy. You fight him. He goes down to the ground. He gets up, and this is one single guy. Then you throw him into the air. It's back up. And I remember it was like 3 times in a row where there was the thing where you were like in the city and there's like these giant volt things that you have to explode. And
Mhm.
so I explode it, and it's right behind him. He feels the explosion, and he gets back up. I'm like, nah, come on, dude, please, just die. You're one single guy, dude.
There's different ways of playing it. First of all, realistically, the further you get, the more armor they wear. If you want to like justify it in some way,
No,
but
no.
you can
They
never
do
even
wear
get
more
up
armor.
from
I didn't feel like I felt like they went down because my technique was hit them with the standard web blast, and then you weaken them, and then you kick them into a wall. If they still got the web on them, then they stick to the wall.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's
Okay,
the thing.
Yeah, but I just
do
upgrade
is
the
that,
web blast. The web blast will do that.
when somebody's on the floor, you just put the weapon. They can't get up after like one punch. Like you put a weapon on somebody, you throw them into the other. Like what I like to do is when you have like a bunch of enemies, it's like you drop those mines. Everybody is webbed. You jump down, do that sonic blaster, and you got like 5 enemies in the wall at the same time. Like you don't need to fight all of them.
Yeah, it's very much to me. It's very much like Batman Arkham, the Arkham series, where you can technically take down you can take down most enemies with just like a basic combo. But if you experiment with the gadgets, you can get different results.
Yeah.
And then once you unlock the
my big problem is that it shouldn't have to be like that though.
But that's the game.
One guy,
It should definitely be like that.
Yeah, but retro, that's what's called a negative to me. That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, it's the game, and that's why I don't like it.
Shit.
Robert probably didn't even know you could use gadgets.
Yeah, but Robert's the worst example of that because Robert never like experiments.
What's
Robert's
gadgets?
just like, I'm gonna do this one thing the whole game.
I didn't experiment too much.
He going through that bitch vanilla, just straight through.
Yeah, like, I'm taking my whole
that's any.
Did you ever, Robert? Did you ever unlock where if you hold triangle, it takes the gun out of their hands and you swing it around and throw it back at them?
Yeah, I like doing
once
that.
you disarmed them,
Yeah.
once I unlocked that and just started disarming them. But you know, I would say overall probably like a 7.5 out of 10. But I had it way lower. My first 5 hours in the game. You know, some people think some people think you can review a game after that short amount of time, but it just didn't hold my interest. But I will say, there isn't a whole lot of like variety of gameplay. Like you guys know, I'll talk about it a little bit later. You know, I think that had to do with why I got so much battery life out of my controller too. Is that I was playing that for out of the 15 hours, like 9 or 10 of it was Spider-Man, and you know, there's a lot of cutscenes and stuff, so I wasn't constantly hammering away at it. But you know, I did enjoy it, and I'm glad that I finished it, got it off the backlog, and you know, I feel I can have a pretty decent opinion on it now, and I will play Miles Morales, but not for $50. There's no way for 50.
Well, I was seeing that honestly. I think Miles Morales will be a better game just because I've heard the combat apparently is improved and then also there's no stealth sections. That 20% of the trash is gone from that game.
Here's my biggest complaint, and it's not even the Mary Jane and Miles sections where you got to sneak around. When I'm getting into it, you know, I'm on a mission and I'm doing something. All right, I got to find a way into this building. I just cleared out or just did climb the building. I took out some circuits with, you know, scanning them or whatever, hacking them. It's like, all right, I got to find a way into the building. I'm like, all right, I'm ready to look for a way in. I turn the camera like a quarter turn, and there's this big yellow glowing vent telling me exactly where I need to go immediately. Without having to press anything, and then that's the whole game. Even the stealth missions, you have the little yellow square, you know, it's turned on the side, telling you how many meters. And as soon as you get to that spot, it highlights over here and tells you how many meters until you walk there. There's no figuring anything out. It holds your hand, and you cannot turn that off. I actually went to the options to turn that off. There's no option to turn that off, and you can turn off the hints, like the move hints, and then it still pops up. Like, I don't know how many hours I was in the game, like 12, 13, 14 hours, and it's still telling me to hit L1 and R1 to open a door. That I know that's how I open that's how you open doors for the 10 other times.
Nintendo shit.
Why is it still telling me that? So it's just some small things, but overall, I found it more enjoyable than I expected by the end. And there's like a bunch of suits and stuff to unlock, but I'm just like pretty much I'm done with that place. That maybe I'll start it over someday, but besides that, I also played The Last of Us Remastered. I had started that this year and I finished it, and then I played Genshin Impact. Believe it or not, I don't know if anybody saw my tweet.
Well, you mentioned it.
Genshin Impact.
I think you mentioned it in your Juice Opinions or something. I remember you mentioning it.
And I will say, it looks beautiful. Like, that art style looks beautiful. The game does not run well, even on the PS4 Pro. It's choppy as hell. And it does not play like Breath of the Wild. It maybe looks like they're trying to make it play like Breath of the Wild. It doesn't feel like Breath of the Wild. It's so clunky, like stiff, janky. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. It just to pick up an item, you have to like completely stop and then wait for the little icon to show you the square so you can actually grab it. You know, I'm used to just running over stuff and spamming to pick up. You know, just it's just very. It looked like, to the point someone showed them where you climb, you jumped off, and you did like a sword smash, and they synced it up with Breath of the Wild, and it was 1-to-1. I thought they just copied the game code and changed some things, but no, it doesn't play any. It doesn't feel anything like that. It's not even close. But for free to play, like, I don't even know what you'd actually have to pay money for. Like, there's
the characters.
There's a lot of stuff to do. I got 4 characters. I got all this stuff, like customized stuff, you know, equipment to set up, and I'm just like, I can't even see where I'd even want to.
Party members. That's the main gacha mechanic. It's party members and potential waifus and husbandos, I guess.
It's mostly that, but it's also like
buy
gaming that are free to play. Usually, what you pay for is impatience. People who are fucking impatient, and then you just pay for that kind of shit. But if you don't care about that, you don't need to.
Yeah, I don't. Like I said, I haven't even seen anything.
We're also
Thank
in
you,
the
El Capitan Obvious.
Savage. I'm just saying, we are in the instant gratification era. Like, dead ass. Like, that's unfortunately.
But I don't honestly, like I said, I don't even see, like, it doesn't guide me to anywhere to purchase anything. And I put about 2 hours into the game, and not once has it guided me somewhere to a purchase screen. I have no idea what you'd even need, you know, what it even requires. But now you told me characters, but I already have like 3 female characters and 1 male character. It's like,
you can never have enough female characters.
But
right.
It's not. I skipped through most of the text. I have no idea what's going on in the story because I don't plan on playing too much. But I mean, for a free-to-play game, there's definitely a huge world and a lot to do. It's not one of those like what's one that has like so basic? I don't know if it's Fortnite. Not really Fortnite because you can level up, but you can't really pick your character customization on Fortnite unless you pay for the season pass. And it's just random character almost every time, if I remember correctly. Then there was another game where it was just the free-to-play option was just so minimal that it was just like, why would you, like, you feel like you don't gain anything by playing the free-to-play where you're...
Well, fuck. The game is free. It costs money to run these servers. You expect them to just give you everything?
I know,
of course you're gonna hit you up with some...
I'm just saying, compared to some of the earlier free-to-play games back, you know, a year or 2 ago, where it's like, there's almost no reason to play the free version. Like it wasn't even the game really. It felt like like a demo more than anything. Where this feels like, to me, it feels like a full game, which is crazy.
That is pretty impressive though.
And I mean, Rocket League too. I mean, as far as just playing the game, getting cars and stuff, is the unlocking. I think works the same as if you bought the game but didn't buy any DLC, didn't buy any. Of the Rocket Pass stuff, and you still get like 10 cars and all these wheels and stuff to unlock, you know. So I wouldn't be surprised if someone started Rocket League free to play and never put a dime into the game and still thoroughly enjoyed it. So, but anyway, that was some of the stuff I played. You guys, Robert, you got Sackboy sitting there, so I'll go to you.
I haven't played it.
You haven't played it yet? Okay.
I'm playing on stream, and admittedly, like, I probably won't touch it for quite a while after the stream.
So
but
this is show and don't tell. That's what this is.
Dang.
It's like, admittedly, you know, I try to pick up some games for my wishes, but nothing came in the mail yet, so I have to show off.
Well, you should play it and then do a review of it because there's only one janky ass review out there for the game. I couldn't find one review that was like a legitimate review for the game yet, so you should cram.
No one cares about Sackboy?
No.
I wonder why.
Poor guy.
I mean, it looks the one thing I did hear from just a couple previews and stuff is that like every level is unique and like has like a new, almost like its own mechanic, or not really mechanic, but new stuff in every level. Was one of the positives.
Well, that's good.
I know, you know, that can be good or bad. Like retro, you know, you were talking about Galaxy 2 that one time. It's like, man, you introduce this cool mechanic, this awesome level, and you get to do it once, and it's done. So there's positives and negatives to that strategy, but
Trizzy was asking, were you talking about Paladins earlier?
I mean, I played Paladins for a little bit. That one kind of felt like there wasn't a lot of progress to be gained without paying for something, but I didn't play it enough. I didn't play it enough to know. That wasn't the one I was thinking of. No, I'm trying to think. It was one of the earlier free-to-play ones, like a few years ago. But so, Robert, what have you played then, since you haven't played?
Oh, I beat a game that I can't say. I'll say that. And then
video.
Yeah, and then I was playing. I've been playing so far. The 2 games I've been playing currently that from this year is Super Mario Origami King finally and Ghost of Tsushima. I've been playing them every other day. So I play one day Paper Mario, next day Ghost, day Paper Mario, Ghost, like that. And I'm having a lot of fun with both, man. I really am. I'm not gonna lie. Like Ghost of Tsushima, at the beginning I was a little like, oh no, I'm kind of annoyed by some of the shit. Like the biggest problem with Ghost of Tsushima is the camera is awful. It's horrible. I mean, it really is bad. Like there's no lock on whatsoever. And it's so close to the character that the point where like it's so ridiculous. Like there's times where there's a guy behind me and then you're trying to fight, but then you're like, oh shit, I got to turn the camera. So let me move my thumb down, go like that, leave myself wide open, in a quick reflex type thing, while I'm literally facing a wall, and then sometimes you're in like crowded rooms, and then the camera doesn't know where the fuck to go, and then you're like, dude, why? Like, how are we in 2020 and this is happening? Like, Ocarina of Time did the fucking Z targeting. Like, what the fuck is going on, man?
That's another thing about Spider-Man. Spider-Man doesn't have lock on either, and I kind of, for some of the bigger like brutes and stuff, I wouldn't mind being able to focus on one enemy.
Well, it's weird because today when I was playing Ghost, I had like I guess my first boss fight in a way, and it's locked on. The entire fight is locked on. I'm like, oh, this is really great. I'm focused on a character, and it's funny because I saw people trying to give an excuse that I was trying to see maybe there was a setting or something, and people were like, well, I think it's it was meant to be like was meant to be bad. Like I don't understand. Like, like what? And it's like it's clearly not because they have a boss fight with lock on, so they know that's like really when it's really intense, you're really into the moment, and but it is actually a lot of fun. I prefer, honestly, just stealthing around. Like, it's a lot of fun stealthing around in these areas. That is what most of my enjoyment is, because the combat is fun. I'm definitely not the greatest at it. I have to get improved. But for sure, I like just stealthing around, seeing how long I can last just slowly taking one guy out by one before I have to, all right, I guess I got caught. Let me actually fight now. I actually really do enjoy that. I wish camera was not like that at all. It's just weird. That's like my biggest problem, which is a big problem. But other than that, it is a lot of fun, man. I'm really liking it. And then Paper Mario is a blast, dude. It's so good. It's hilarious. I'm laughing at like every single goddamn turn. Right now, I'm at like past the it's like I'm on the blue streamer, which is like the second world or whatever. And I'm right now at this ninja park, and it's just so damn funny. It's so great. Really? Yeah. Well, there you go. Yo. It's a damn blast. I'm loving it. I actually do quite like the combat system, the whole ring system. And then when it's bosses, you're on the outside and you have to find a path to go inside of the boss. Like, that is so cool. I thought that was super cool.
Are you like me where you wish that you were actually leveling up with these fights?
Yeah.
That's the one thing I do really miss.
It's the one thing that it's like that you feel like you would enjoy the fights more if you just had a little.
Because you don't have any incentive. Like, you can just run past.
Well, I think that's the big thing is that it's almost weird. I kind of feel like the game is set up where fighting is almost a punishment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where it's like a lot of times where they'll have enemies run across you and stuff, and you do have to pass them or else you have to fight. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So admittedly, that could get, that's like the big point is where it's like it'd be nicer if you get more an incentive to fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
But
seemed to be a
I still
general.
think the
like,
the battle system cool, and the boss battles really cool. The boss battles have been really cool so far, and the dialogue is just so fucking funny. Like
Hilarious.
it's so great. It's some of the best Nintendo writing, honestly. Like it is fantastic. I'm absolutely adoring the game, and I'm loving it. Yeah.
So I got to ask about Ghost of
Yeah.
Tsushima. Like, do you ride a horse in that game or not?
I do, because admittedly, so like you can't. I tried running around in the game, but like you can't climb. It's not. It just
The world's not
Not
as
the
interesting.
same.
Breath of the Wild.
Not the same.
Breath of the Wild has ruined my damn open world love, because it's just like so many. Like honestly, everyone's like, like I actually stood still, right, and I looked around and Ghost of Tsushima. I'm like, where is a spot that I'm interested in looking at? You know what I'm saying? Like 'cause in
Mhm.
Breath of the Wild, I feel like I always could be like, I want to go there, I want to go there, I want to go there. So Ghost of Tsushima doesn't really have that. Sometimes you'll pass by, more often than not, you will pass by maybe a house that has like some supplies. Oh my god, it's an empty house with supplies. But it's like to me, it's like you know what I mean?
But
like,
there's
that's
no
not-
waypoints,
like
Robert.
Horizon in that
There's
way.
no waypoints because it's
No,
like
oh
Horizon.
my god, honestly, that shit annoys me, yo. You know how many times I go in?
to hit the wind.
I'm always flicking the damn button so I could get the wind. And then I was like, where is the wind? and that honestly, again, I knew that shit was gonna happen, because I'm like, am I gonna have to constantly flick it? And eventually, sometimes, and also you can't like leave the area at all. Like in the main mission, if you leave the area, it says return to the area right now.
I hate that shit.
And-
Oh
yeah,
God.
It's
What?
and literally the wind is going crazy. It's like, go behind you, bro. It's behind you. I'm like, all right, relax, wind. I get it. The area's over here. It's behind me. I'll go there.
I'd love
fine.
to watch a recording of that where Robert didn't know anyone was watching him when he was.
No, it's still a lot of fun. I just feel like camera, that waypoint is just honestly is more of a gimmick where people are like, oh, this is so cinematic. And then I hate that the health bar is so tiny on the bottom left, and you know me, I have a big screen, so I can't even see my health bar sometimes.
Wait, yeah,
He's like, I can't see my help.
I gotta look over.
It's
I'm
all the
not-
way over here.
I'm not even gonna lie.
Damn.
There's so many times where literally I would die, and I'm like, fuck, I didn't even know I was low in health, man. And like, cause it's so tiny. It's so tiny. Like,
I got a
trying to make it work.
confession.
like,
Playing the Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, I probably had an hour into it before I realized that there was the hearts up in the upper left with your health. I was just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't look around. I was just so like trying to fight and stuff. And I was like, what's my? How do I know? I feel like I'm flashing red. Let me eat something. Then I was like, oh, it's hearts, obviously. But it took me so
there's
long.
a difference if you just like into the world that you don't realize it, and the fact that you can't see it because it's the other side of the room.
So,
but it's true though. It's a damn shame.
T, you been playing anything interesting? Anything fun?
Oh, I've been playing Paper Mario, Origami as well. But interesting. No, I got sucked back into Horizon New Game Plus. Been playing a lot of that, and it's just it feels good to be a god, running through the game, because it's like before you're avoiding things, not unlike Breath of the Wild where you're avoiding like guardians and all kinds of stuff. But now I'm just like, I'm taking things out with just bow and arrow, just the big because they're the like dinosaur like creatures, so like the big T-Rex style. I'm like, God, I'm godly. I have my ancient armor, and so I'm not worried about too much. And
I did
it
like
feels great
the
to just run
targeting the different parts of the, their armor. And
through.
the
Yeah, that was
weapons.
real cool.
I do wish.
You get that one weapon where I forget what it's called, but it's like a bow and arrow. The arrow where it's like vibrates and knocks things off. You know what I'm talking about?
I
It's
don't
like
know
a
if I got
sound
that.
wave.
I might have been. That might have been
Oh.
later DLC or something because I did not get that.
Yeah, so there's an arrow that it shoots and then it goes boing and it like knocks all
Oh,
the
really?
armor,
That's cool.
in that area. Very cool. A lot of fun with that. So
I wish that game had gyro aiming.
because then you can you don't have to worry about like their special weapons. Like some of them have like these freaking laser cannons that will mess you up and wreck you quick. But if you take those things out, early, then they're just running around. I like watching them limping away. Like, oh no, I'm screwed. I gotta get out of here.
that was
it's
another
cool.
game where Breath of the Wild spoiled me, whereas
Oh, yeah.
I really wanted the gyro
Well, me too.
aiming with the bow. Same when I played Tomb Raider as well. But
gyro aiming, and you just like, I can't jump up on this little stupid rock, and it's annoying.
Yeah.
I had to go around.
the invisible walls are pretty
So stupid. Invisible walls. Oh my goodness! You ever go to areas where it's like, if you look on the map, it's like black? Because I'm always like trying to go past shit I shouldn't be in, and it's like you can't go any further, and you just stop. You literally can't move. You have to turn around and go back the other way. It's weird.
I remember one where I needed to get down somewhere, and it was one of the towns where it's like, I don't know, it was like a big cylinder or something. It was almost like an elevator system. I was like, all right, there's a ledge right there. I just want to jump down to that. And there was like a rope probably at her ankle, probably her shin height. So all right, just jump over. Jump, just invisible wall. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, even if it killed me, I should be able to jump over that. Just little things like that. And another thing that's like, I said in my juice opinions, I think, it's like, why don't these games, not that any of us have PS5s, but why don't these games have PS5 upgrades like day one? Like, I know Microsoft, kind of set the standard there, but I'm just puzzled by the fact that a lot of these like major Sony games didn't have PS5 upgrades. Yeah. I mean, even it's just what Days Gone and Ghost of Tsushima did, added a 60 frame per second adaptive 4K option, changing nothing else, and then the game can, like Days Gone, every video I've watched about games to revisit now that you have a next gen system, Days Gone's made the list on every video I've watched because it got such a nice upgrade. And it's just, Horizon seems like a no-brainer, like, unless they really do plan on reselling these games as remasters or something.
Like
so they did nothing with Horizon?
Nothing. I mean, that runs at PS4 Pro mode. Last of Us Part 2 runs as if you're playing on PS4 Pro. Spider-Man, obviously, we know about that situation. Death Stranding plays like it's just PS4 Pro, so it's just...
Don't talk about that game. That game is dead to me.
But it's just weird. It's like, I don't know what... I mean, that would have been a nice little extra incentive. That's something Microsoft is really, they've got that figured out. That's the main thing they got going on really with games.
Because they ain't got no games, they had no jokes.
So I was saying, you couldn't figure out fucking first party, but you can figure out all this other shit.
Well, hold on. This game has a PS5 upgrade available. It says on the box over here.
Man,
yeah, that should be the standard, not the exception. But if you buy the PS5 version,
it's only because it's a new game.
It just came out.
I was saying, it's also a new game. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
All right.
That's only a reason.
Retro Death, what you been playing?
I've been mostly playing 3 things, 2 smaller things. Obviously, Animal Crossing still. Nobody fucking cares. We're gonna say it anyway. I finally got like the last village I've been hunting for the last month, so now I can like enjoy fall, which is like, that pisses me off. Like, that's like 1 week of fall now, where like leaves are falling, trees are red and shit, and it's the last week of fall. It's 3 fucking months. You get the last week of that shit. Like, I don't get it. Kind of pisses me off. And I actually picked up like a day or 2 ago, I think, Rocket League again. I wanted to kind of just play it randomly for fun, and I was like, you know what? I'll put it on the PlayStation 4 because I was playing that a lot recently. So I downloaded because it's for free now, so whatever, and I've been like playing that a lot, having a lot of fun with it. But I don't know if PlayStation players are just really fucking weak compared to Switch and PC players, or if because I'm starting a new profile, they're ranking me really
you're just
low,
playing against free-to-play people who are just trying
I'm
it for the
finishing
first
almost
time.
every match with like 10 versus 2 or some shit like that score.
Yeah,
like, it's
PlayStation
like a walk
guys
in
should
the
be
park.
pros.
But I'm not even on Juice's. I'm not even on Juice's level. I've played for a while, but I mean.
But if
like,
you start over
I
with
shouldn't be
and you
that
never
over
played
that.
on there before, like my buddy, I got him the game and he hadn't installed it yet, and I stopped over on his profile. He'd never played it, so he's playing against people that are literally driving without boost and don't even know how to flip,
Exactly,
So
that kind of shit.
yeah, so I mean it's easy to score in
A
them.
few matches, you should like at least give me something and shit. But I'm having fun. I like because I never played it yet since they made it free to play, and I kind of like their reward system where you have like challenges every day.
Yeah, it's permanent.
And even for simple challenges, you like you just said earlier, even for simple challenges, You unlock cars and shit. It's just win 3 online matches. You get like a fucking car and shit, and like you get like wheels for just like driving for 5 minutes, some dumb shit like that. So you keep unlocking shit. So it's free to play, and like I said, you never need to put in money, and you keep unlocking. I unlock like fucking rare, like very ultra rare, like motion decals and that kind of shit. So I kind of like what they did with that. And apart from that, the main thing I've been playing is because we're back in lockdown here. I work less. I still get paid, fortunately, but I work much less. So I was like, you know what? I want to start something big from my backlog. Like clocked it, like my seafood and shit. Like I want to be like Robert. So I actually started Uncharted, the Nathan Drake trilogy on the PS4, and this is not like a retro deathism. I'm not kidding. 2 days, I was at 70% of the fucking game. And I look at the clouds, I look around, I take my time. Taking my time, like, the game is short as fuck. Like, I'm already at chapter, like, 16 or some shit after 2 days, but I'm having a lot. I just wanted some simple adventure kind of shit. What?
You said you work less and you still get paid?
We're very fortunate here in Europe. Yeah.
Evil socialists.
But even like, if you want to, I will quickly say that even in Europe, my boss has been quite generous when it comes to that shit. Not everybody in Europe has the luck that I've had with that, so I'm lucky with that. Either way, like, I just wanted some kind of adventure shit, like in the 80s, old school adventures. Sometimes you're in a very specific mood, like Indiana Jones kind of adventure. You know what? I started Uncharted, and I like the voice acting. I like the way the game looks. The shooting is really satisfying.
It's better
and this is only the first game, so I assume it's only going to get better. The one thing I don't like in these kinds of games is when you have climbing segments, it's like press X. There's all these ledges and shit, but you press X because it goes automatic and shit. But that's kind of what I wanted. It's that standard Sony cinematic experience, and that's what it's giving me, and it's a lot of fun. When I started playing, we talked about it in the group chat where Robert, he was like, "Oh, I'm playing Odyssey," and like he sees like the records he's breaking of like
the jump rope
friend list. And Uncharted does that too. I like killed like a few guys with a headshot, and all of a sudden it's like, "Hey, you beat Terminator Juice." I like yesterday some shit. Terminator Juice was popping up. Hey, like I beat your high score and shit. I like this little integration.
Yeah, that was kind of.
Have you seen any of my records, Joe?
No.
Do I have any? We're not even friends on the damn PS4. We have to add each other.
I don't think
we're friends. I don't remember.
I have Juice and Clocknet, and I think.
I don't think I actually have anybody, yo. Yeah, we'll have to do that. Yeah.
I'll add you because I like this kind of shit.
I wanted to see if I have any. I don't know how high my records are. They're probably not very high, but I don't know.
But just the fact that you finished the game means you're kind of high on average, because it's not like I'm like. When enemies are dead, they're dead.
And they're not bullet sponges. I don't know if that's something Bluepoint changed because they handled the remaster. They definitely improved the aiming because I played a little bit of 2. It's significantly better than the original PS3 version. So I'm guessing that applies to all 3 games. They kind of put the same better aiming. I don't know what you call it. Just the analog sticks just feel better and the aiming just feels better. And I mean, I'm killing guys with 2 shots. I don't know if later on they become bullet sponges, but I know that was something in Uncharted 2 that stood out to me was just
they get a little bit bullet spongy. I don't know which Uncharted, but they definitely do get a little bit too bullet spongy.
But I like that.
Popping the lid in them.
It's kind of like when people hate floaty physics. I like floaty physics, and people hate bullet sponges. But sometimes it's satisfying to take a machine gun and shoot an enemy for like half an hour.
No. Satisfying.
You just like murder. That's what.
No. See, that would be satisfying. Retro.
In front of me.
I'd be satisfied if it was one guy, not 20. But then you got to do it.
It's funny because I feel like Nathan's the bullet sponge in the first game, as according.
Yeah, I guess to be fair, technically
he's quite the bullet sponge.
It's always you.
Compared to the second game, but so. my plan is because I got back into it. I'm not that far. I just had where the plane, Elena and Nathan jumped out of the plane, and I'm getting back to her. So it's pretty early in the game. I don't think the first game's very long though. My goal or my plan now is to play through the trilogy, play 2 again, and then play 3, and then I never played Uncharted 4 since I've had the Pro, so
Oh, really? Wait.
I didn't play it.
It's a whole new experience, I'm sure.
I'm visually, but I've been wanting to replay it.
Evil villain over there.
I want to replay that and then play Lost Legacy again. So I'm gonna play through the whole series
I'm gonna go
for
through
next
all
year.
as well, like in order and a row. I did play some of 4, but only the multiplayer shit, not the story stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm playing through 4 again too. I'm in that area, that big muddy,
Where you're
that
driving
big
the Jeep.
muddy
I like
open
that
area when you're driving around with the crew. Yeah.
Yep.
Forgot that I started that again. I forgot that I'm playing that again.
Damn.
So Terrell,
Yeah, there's always some.
what's your
Yo.
game update?
So the string games have been the same. So Persona 4, Golden, and Ori. Ori's fucking hard. Christ, it threw me off.
You gotta remember to save, man. You gotta remember to save.
Yeah, that was like the biggest struggle. I would go through sections and be like, I made it, and then die immediately. I have to go, oh, that's right, and fucking save.
You don't have to
That
do
is
that in the second
insane.
game, by the way. It has automatic checkpoints littered
does it?
throughout. Yeah.
Oh, thank God. It's not like realistically. I recognize it's my fault because they've already told me this, and I forget, and then I'll go through a section. And I will say the puzzles are really good. The puzzles were really good. So I think I got to the wind area or where the gravity shifts, and you have to like jump on blocks, but you have to jump on them on a certain gravitational field in order to get across the area. And I was stuck on it for a minute, but that was really well done. So I thought Ori's been great. That's been a really good experience so far. I'm playing that again on Wednesday. Persona has been Persona. I'm enjoying it. I'm in high school, taking on demons and shadows like usual. But Steam over the weekend, I guess, I don't know if it's still going on, had like this fighting game sale. And so I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go pick up a couple fighting games. I have I bought Ultimate Marvel's Capcom 3 because it's been a while. And I never played that version of the game because fuck Capcom at the time. I decided to pick up Street Fighter 5 and then I picked up Dead or Alive 6. I'm going to say this right now. Street Fighter 5 has the most janky fucking story mode I've ever seen in my fucking life. Where you can go from brain dead, and I mean this, like, where the AI is just jumping and you might get like a couple of jabs in, to like absolutely hard as nails within like 2 fights. Fuck Street, and I beat it, but fuck that, like that stupid Bison fight at the
He's
end
an
was
asshole.
fucking garbage.
I hated him on
that
Street Fighter 2 Turbo, man. He's such a pain in the ass.
He's a cheating bitch, and they make you play. You're playing with Nash. You're not playing with Ryu, and I'm like, this is garbage. I had to go and learn Nash's moveset just to beat his cheating ass.
That was when the AI was really cheap because they could do moves back to back that you couldn't do because your hands wouldn't allow you to do the 2 moves instantly back to back, and Bison would do them constantly.
Yeah, he's a fucking asshole. Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Regardless of the bullshit and the controversy that game had when it launched, because it came out 6 months after the original, overall that game has aged better than I thought it did. I like that game a lot actually, and Dead or Alive 6 is just,
Really?
yeah. Overall, like especially when you can. I don't want to do the Infinite comparison because everything looks better when you compare it to Marvel's Capcom Infinite. But like when I look at that roster compared to 2's will always be better, but I give them credit for having some interesting choices. Granted, they could have done more, and maybe if Capcom had handled their shit better, that game would have did better instead of it being dragged out for as long as it was. And then Dead or Alive 6 is cool. I mean, we already kind of, I think me and Juicy did rounds of the free version, but
Yeah.
I still like Dead or Alive 6. So yeah, that's what I've been playing.
All right. So
Jiggle physics?
we had
That's a lifestyle, T. Don't judge me.
last week, we had the final 2 consoles of the 9th gen came out, and Robert and I think were the only ones who made any effort to just for the hell of it see if we could get one. And
I know I tried.
did you try?
I tried for the PlayStation 5. When I think it was Walmart who did the whole. You had to get it at certain times.
Yeah, every 3 hours for.
Yeah, I did it twice. I did it at I think it was like 3 and 6. I actually sat on website. And I got the bitch in the cart, and the motherfucker wouldn't process, and I was like, and I had it on my phone. I had it on 2 tabs on my browser. I was like, listen, I'm gonna give it an honest shot. If I get it in the cart and I buy it, I'll get it. Motherfucker wouldn't load.
That's how I felt too. Like if I get it, I'm prepared to buy it, but if I don't, then it was something to try. Because I've actually, honestly, I don't think I've ever said this. Maybe I did on Juice Opinions. I've never tried, even attempted to get an Xbox or PlayStation on launch day. Never even went to the store or tried to pre-order, and I never even thought to, never cared to. So I figured at the very least I would try this time, and so I wake up at 4:45 on Tuesday morning, and I was like, oh man, I could just go now and go get in line. I was like, let me eat something. Let me play with the cat. So I get there about 5:15. And there's 6 people in line. I'm thinking, all right, that's not too bad. And there's a sign that says Xbox sales start at 6 a.m. Series X 6, Series S 7, and there were 6 guys, and they're like, yeah, we're all getting the X. And I was like, okay, turned around and walked away. I forgot to ask the last guy when he got there, so I don't know how much I missed it by time wise. But I was tired. I was like, you know what? I don't care about the S. I'm not even going to try to resell it. I don't care. I ain't going to mess with that. 3D All-Stars taught me I don't want to try to scalp anything. So I was just like, I'm going back to bed. I went home, went to sleep. Even if I got the X, honestly, I would have just walked in the house, set it down, and went to sleep because I was just tired.
It's just such a sad state of affair when you have a new launch and you have 4 guys here out of 5 that are diehard trying to get it. One dude gets up at 4 fucking a.m. I didn't even go to bed at 4 a.m. This other dude has 15 fucking things. He's diehard trying to get it, and
I was giving it an honest shot. I wanted to give it an honest shot.
I wasn't really trying.
Nobody can even get one. Come on.
I think if
I was just if I get lucky, then I'll get it, and if not, well.
If I really wanted one, I probably would have got up at 3. And I feel like I would have been pretty confident in getting one. I will say I went back and the S's were gone. So somebody, even though it was 45 minutes before, somebody bought the S's. So. Yep. But to me, that was that was more than I was I've ever done before for a non-Nintendo system. So I feel like I got pretty close with that one. And then. PS5, my situation was the same as Terrell, but I had it in the cart. I had it in the checkout. I already had my card information, but when I hit
the bitch wouldn't process.
When I hit the checkout, it was spinning, and then it's no longer available.
Yeah, it's do you want to save it for later? No, fuck.
I literally got it. I literally got it to the point where I got past the checkpoint and checkout. There we go. I forgot already. Checkpoint. And literally, it was the final button. I don't know what. I think it's literally
payment,
review
probably.
order. No, I put in the payment and everything, and I had address, everything, and it was all checkmark for delivery, all that type of stuff. So it's always just the final thing, just to click. That's it. And I click it, nothing.
It should have been locked as soon as you got there.
And I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, how is it that I could type in all this shit? And they're like, nah, this guy can't get one. Like that guy.
I wonder.
Wait, what?
I tried 2 different strats. So the first time I was at the PlayStation 5 page and I hit add to cart. And then I couldn't process it then. So my friend texted me and he was like, just keep it in your cart, the save for later shit, and then just transfer it in when the time comes. So I tried it that way, and it wouldn't process, but I got to the fucking put your information in. But I guess the time it took me to hit place order, it was oh no, it's gone. And I'm like, all right, fine.
Also, today I saw literally on the dot, I saw something pop up for the Sony themselves. I was driving back from work. I clicked it on there, and I just was waiting, and it said that I was in a queue. This is Sony's official website. I was in a queue, and it said 36 minutes remaining. I'm like, man, if you're in a queue, I'm like, oh shit, I might be on the Juice Loose night saying, hey, I guess I got a PS5. And it was gonna be, and it says 16 minutes remaining, 10 minutes, all the way literally less than a minute. It redirects me to the PlayStation page. Out of stock. I'm like, why would you make me wait?
That's why I didn't bother.
You in a queue like that. Those dirty bitches.
Why is there still a line for basically just everyone entering to say, all right, leave? come and go, just come and go, all right? Like,
And apparently
what's the point of
Walmart's going to
that?
do it again on Black Friday.
I don't care. Fuck
But
it.
I'm more interested in the Switch games for $29.99.
Yeah, I saw that actually on Twitter.
I'm gonna pick up Link's Awakening. Finally get that. But yeah, for as far as like the PS5, like Clacked made a comment that he thought, man, that's got to be frustrating. I was actually just kind of having fun because it's nice to not have any real attachment to getting one or not getting one, you know, because it was just kind of like fun. But it does puzzle me to see so many people on YouTube have just got them. It's like not even the big YouTubers who got them from Sony, but the people. It's like, how did every one of you get a freaking pre-order? I just don't.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's like the pre-orders were gone before anybody knew it. And
yeah.
So it's just like part of me almost wanted to just, and I would have tried my hardest. I don't know if I would have been able to if I had gotten one, to say that I was just playing on the PS4. And then the podcast starts, and I would have just had it sitting back there until somebody said something. I was really hoping that could have happened, but
also I know that there's for Black Friday they're having for GameStop at least they said every single store will have a minimum, and you think, oh, minimum of what? I don't know, 20, 2. A minimum for every store.
I'm not even.
And you know what they're gonna do? I had
Minimum 2.
They had fucking the most ridiculous bundles. So they had a PS5 with a second controller. Like, why do you need a second controller? I guess Sackboys split on couch co-op. I don't need a second controller. It was a year's worth of PlayStation Plus, whatever, I guess, if that was the price. Then it was NBA 2K1, the Mamba edition, $100.
Oh, the $100
$100. And Spider-Man Miles Morales, the Ultimate Edition, $70. A headset, and then some PlayStation Store money. It was like $900 and something. And I'm like, so it was sitting there, place order. I didn't click on it. I'm trying to do the math real quick. All right, if I sell the Mamba sealed for 90, if I sell Spider-Man for 60, what am I looking at, total? And I was like, still like 7 something. I'm like, hell no. And then just for the hell of it, I clicked on it, and it just flashed and said, not available. So I was like, if I had waited that minute, I don't know, maybe I could have, but I ain't paying for stuff I don't want. Like, I did that with the GameCube, where you had to buy 3 games and a generic second controller. And
you got caught with the bundle, huh?
Yeah, that was the only option back then for pre-order.
And yeah, that second controller was garbage.
But I actually, you know what I did? I bitched because I was like, oh, I thought this was the official one. No, he's like, it was the cheapest one too. He's like, you know what? He's like, I'll swap it out for you. So he swapped it out.
It wasn't even like Mad Cat. It was like Initech.
No, it was junk.
Garbage.
It's like, I paid $400. I'm getting this cheap controller. He actually swapped it out with an official one, so that was cool. But
I remember because I worked at Walmart at the time. And I was like, this is some trash.
It's so scummy how that shit works in America. I don't know in England, but you don't see that shit like that. Like, oh, we have like 2 launch systems, but you have to buy like.
Well, unfortunately, we weren't born over there, retro shit.
Player games that don't exist. Some jank ass headset, like super special collector's edition games you don't give a fuck about.
What was that Xbox one? Where it gave you or at least had the Xbox Elite controller. But it was ridiculous. Robert, you shared that one. Because I mean, that's a really nice controller, but I ain't paying $180 for a fucking controller. I don't.
A controller.
There's just no way. But that was, I mean, you might be able to get some decent money for that new, selling it. But like, would they stop you from just returning the stuff you didn't want and keeping the system? I don't know how that'd work, but
I'm sure they would.
Let's go to.
Ask you for your receipt, and then you're like, "Oh, you bought this in a bundle. We can't take this back."
Let me read some of
you
the.
could get like 1 controller, or literally every one of us in the podcast get Link's Awakening.
Yeah. So here's a $750 bundle at GameStop.
Also, real quick, while you're looking that up, just want to mention this. Apparently, they've recently announced that supposedly there's supposed to be shortages for these consoles until very early until early next year. Like
no,
like fucking. Well, I hate you, T.
Supposedly, I'm not doing it to you. I'm like, surprise, everyone.
Well, supposedly the month they mentioned is until like April, and I was like, it's kind of rough, guys.
It's just dumb though, because like again. Like my big thing is like for the whole Sony page, like you know how Sony takes orders, like, dude, you're Sony yourself. You might as well just take the orders and say, all right, well, we'll ship it to you in February. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, we'll tell you when we'll have it. Like, you already have an order. Just like with the
just
limited
take the
games,
order and then ship it when it comes. Yeah.
Why can't I just order
limited
one?
runner.
It's
So-
just stupid because they're missing out on money. That's my problem.
So listen to this $750 bundle. It's the PS5 digital, extra
God.
controller, the controller charging station, which actually looks pretty cool, the camera, the remote control, a $100 PlayStation Store card, and a $60 PlayStation Plus card. So $750. You
So
don't even.
random.
I mean, you can buy games
The
with that.
digital one?
You can buy games with that $100 digital, but it's like obviously you can't. They could have just sold you a download code, so I guess that's a better option for the digital. But $750 if someone was that desperate, I mean, obviously it sold out. But I just can't.
I'm not gonna
Thirsty
lie,
motherfucker.
I think on Black Friday, I think I'm gonna just pass by my GameStop. I want to see how many people are there, yo.
So
I'm
here's the
curious.
Series X one.
I don't care enough.
$904. You get an Xbox Series X. You get Gears Tactics, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, a headset, 3 months of Game Pass, and the Xbox Elite controller. $904 fucking dollars.
And a free dose of COVID and you walk into that damn GameStop.
Exactly.
Oh, thanks.
Did you want to die today? Sure.
Jeez.
It's like, I mean, it's fine. I mean, at least value. Oh, this one I didn't have the Elite controller, and this one's $820. It just has 2 games, Game Pass, an extra controller, and a headset. It's like, but people had to buy it. I mean, people chose to buy this stuff, and it's ridiculous that they can do that. Newegg did the same shit with bundles, forced bundles. It's just.
Hey, I don't like those.
I mean, it's a
bundles.
hustle. I mean, that's really what it is.
So now that these systems are out, the Switch is a 9th gen system. Nintendo just in an interview said that the Switch will be planning to be their longest console life. In that they're gonna just continue to find ways to extend the life.
Praise the death. Praise him.
But we're only at
It's
year
like, I'll
4.
thank you already
All it has
because
to do is be
two
3 more
copies of
years,
Mario
and
Kart
it's
9.
the most they've ever done was 6. So if it does 3 more years, then it's already
Just
done.
be 7. That's
But
it.
He specifically said that they're going to continue to find ways to extend the life cycle of the Switch. What do you guys think that vague ass comment means?
I think it means you're buying me 2 copies of Mario Kart 9.
Absolutely nothing.
I think it means Nintendo NES games, NES games, and the added to the online service more.
I could think of really cool ways to expand it. Obviously, you're making fun of NES games. It should be some better selection. It should be some GameCube, should be some N64 in there. That would nicely expand it. Actually make the join feature available instead of just having that button there you can't do nothing with.
I think only one game uses
the invite, where you can go to see if there's invites.
Invite feature, like allowing people to talk to their friends. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff that we should have had from the beginning that you could do.
Of course.
Come out with a.
But as far as hardware, I mean, are they going to release 3 or 4 different, versions of the Switch? I hope not.
I think they will. I think they could
Stuff
because
that the stuff that T mentions even pisses me off because that's the same garbage people shat on the Wii U over. It doesn't have this garbage system. It's been 4 fucking years. The Switch still doesn't have that. But
4
Switch
years.
is good,
Well,
like money selling.
Well, I think to legit extend the life cycle, I think you need more than N64 and GameCube, games. I really think they need to, like you said, improve the user experience of the Switch for all the people that diehard Xbox and PlayStation guys who cave and buy a Switch. You know what happens. You hear about it happening. If you listen to other podcasts, people get them. And it's just the drop off in functionality when it comes to just messaging a friend, like sending a game invite, like the simple things are missing. And then they just, for whatever reason, will not do any kind of revision for the Joy-Cons, or I mean the Pro Controller doesn't really need a revision, but just something to breathe life into the system instead of just ignoring the issues that people have with the Joy-Con drift. And like at some point I thought by now we'd have a Joy-Con set that had a D-pad for people that have no intentions of playing the Joy-Con sideways split Joy-Con system, you know, like just things like that. But I really think they need some kind of hardware revision if they truly want to be.
I think we're all assuming there will be a quote unquote Switch Pro, right? I think that's
probably.
We're all pretty much assuming that. I mean, you can't go, the years they want to go with this thing and not having a hardware revision. They at least need to have one. Obviously, Joy-Cons need to be redone. Like, just forget about this whole hand off this Joy-Con, and you forget about that stuff because
that's got to be the minority.
They're not good for that.
Like,
nobody really does it
that feature anymore anyway.
Remember that was like
they don't really promote that, and nobody really does it anymore. So
because it's just
more of just the game.
It doesn't have as many buttons, and it's just super uncomfortable. I don't care who you are. That's not even kids.
I don't care if you're Donald Trump with the little hands. You still
that's not a comfortable way to play.
Issues,
especially like Mario Kart.
Playing with those,
hold that A button with those Joy-Con buttons, man. That should like just digs right into the thumb. So I would hope that they really, if they want to make the life cycle last, that they have a legit plan, and it's not the Wii situation where it went 6 years, but that last year was pretty much throwaway, other than Skyward Sword, which should have been, well, you want to say the last year and a half, really. They didn't release anything of worth after Skyward Sword in 2011, and then the Wii U didn't come out to November 2012. So they can't just say that that's part of the life cycle and not have something like Sony just said, which is weird because they care about generations. They said that it'll be 3 years before the PS5 isn't. They're not going to consider a PS4 version of a game. Like they think,
that's not so bad.
They think that 3 years from now that the PS4 will finally be phased out. When it comes to potentially getting cross-gen games, which not new to them, but it's based on what they're saying. I didn't expect that. So Nintendo could plan to keep the Switch around with the new system instead of just kicking it to the curb.
What also hinges on what the new system would end up being, because if they continue to have the Switch route, then realistically, like, you would expect things like backwards compatibility and like things to carry over.
Digital purchases.
I said you expect. I said expect. I didn't say reality. I hate when T does that shit. He starts laughing like an evil villain in the background, like he's like, "Did you know that's a fucking lie?" Like, I get it, but yeah, like if it keeps that same Switch route, my assumption would be more so that like then you could kind of you wouldn't need to keep it at that point. Now, if it was a completely different system, then you could probably keep the Switch going, because then it would be offering two different experiences. PlayStation, it never really made sense to me, because I'm like, well, they're both home consoles. Like, why just, like, if you really want people to switch, just fucking make them switch. Like, I know people bring up the whole Switch launch compared to like the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X launch, but like, as Nintendo fans, we're very much aware Nintendo does not support their old consoles once the new one's out. Like, it's very much like you buy the new console,
we're done.
Yeah, it's a cutoff. So like, but they had games you could have bought Breath of the Wild on Wii U. Well, yeah, but I wouldn't have gotten anything else for the rest of the generation. Whereas PlayStation 4 owners will get shit for like the next couple of years. So
the sad part is when Nintendo says they want to like prolong the Switch's life. What we would want, like you guys said, we would want. Okay, what they in our eyes, what they would need is like, okay, need like a Switch Pro revision maybe at some point. Need this infrastructure, maybe more virtual console like he says. You add all this shit. That's what we think. I think realistically, what Nintendo is thinking, we just give them games here and there. If they give us regular game output, like a few titles a year, I think that's what they mean. I don't think. Yeah. Of course, I hope we would get. If you, like in my head, I'm the one who says like I see them do this shit for another 4 or 5 years. if they do that realistically, you're gonna be like, okay, after like 1 or 2 years from now, you need that fucking Switch Pro. You gotta try at least to keep up with shit. But it's like I have no faith in Nintendo in that way anymore. I guess since a long time. I
think you're right about the game. I think we know they don't mind re-releasing stuff. So I think something like GameCube remasters would be a way to prolong it. It wouldn't cost you too much as a company. You already have the infrastructure for it. I mean, you did it with Twilight Princess. You did it with a Wind Waker. So, and you did it fairly quickly from what they were saying. So, I think everybody would be happy with that to help prolong it. We can get our F-Zero finally. It will be new, but at least it'll be an F-Zero. Maybe you throw in, multiplayer.
Ironically enough, I think most people would have been more happy with GameCube remasters than the Wii U ports we got. I feel like that one would have been happy.
Oh, I think totally.
It wasn't 20 years compared to 2 years,
Right. I think that's a no-brainer because it's so far, GameCube
one is
so far away at least.
The other's not.
Yeah, and you actually are getting an upgrade. You're getting games that were standard definition games into making them HD games. So that is actually something, that feels like, it's better. You're getting something.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Not
just the literal same game.
But you might remind people how much better games used to be, like Mario Party. That's the one problem.
Ironically enough, I'm surprised they didn't do anything from Mario Party. Is still one of the weirdest cases on the Switch.
It's so weird.
I thought they would have did something else for it. You either would have came out with like an extra edition or DLC.
New one.
Because I'm like, remember they used to put like 3 or 4 Mario Parties on the same fucking console.
Yeah.
I would figure we would get another one of those. It's been what?
We got 3 on N64. We got like 4 on GameCube, right? Like
what are we talking about?
You got like 4.
Mario Party.
Yeah, we were just talking about how weird Mario Party is on Switch because like Nintendo normally puts out like 3 or 4 of those on a console. So it's like, and they didn't do DLC or nothing for that thing. And I'm like,
nothing.
I guess lately they've been.
But why should they? They sold 10 million copies of that shit.
Yeah.
Because we had 2, the Wii U had 1, and now this Switch has 1 so far. So maybe, but combined with then you had the 3DS had what, like 2 or 3 even, and so
2 because one of them was that fucking
Island Tour and the
one was just like the mini game.
Yeah, one was just the mini game collection.
Oh, the top 100.
But still,
there you go.
This conversation is actually much sadder, Juice. We're not talking about Mario Party. We're talking about how can Nintendo keep the Switch alive with GameCube ports.
And not just from Nintendo's game output do they got to keep it alive, because technically it's still alive if Nintendo's putting games, but if they're the only ones putting games in the next couple years, because the reality is, even though the Series X and PS5 didn't have a ton of games at launch, that the same week the Switch is getting another 360 game and Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, and like that's the reality is that's the games that the Switch is getting third party wise more so than current 8th gen games. Getting a lot of 360 type games, and they're still coming, and so the gap between the Xbox One, PS4, and Switch as far as the third-party games is only going to get worse because, they're not... I don't know what's to come in the future, but I expect, the next Assassin's Creed built exclusively for PS5 and Xbox Series X to look, significantly better, or at least a decent amount better than what Valhalla looked, being a cross-gen game, and it's like, they got to figure out something, and like we said,
can you believe there's no Call of Duties?
No Madden.
Switch. There's no Madden. There's no.
I figured they would have at least tried.
GTA. There's none of that stuff.
It's one of those cases where you're like, I figured they would have at least tried one.
All they have to do is a Black Ops 1 and 2 or 3 collection, multiplayer only.
Right.
Oh, by the way, people were pissed off when that Mass Effect collection was announced. And people noticed no Switch version, and we were like, Really?
Well, they won't get
That's
a
what I hate when
remastered.
people are like, "Oh, the Wii U trash, Wii U's trash." Bitch, like the first year, the Wii U got the Assassin's Creed, they got the Call of Duties, they got the
First
Madden,
2 years.
all that
Okay,
shit.
first
You know?
off,
Yeah.
I'm gonna listen. We've somewhat had this conversation
Because it's
before,
close.
but
It was closer in power,
yeah, like that's not the same thing.
but still, they were there.
They were no.
Yeah,
I'm not.
the
I'm not.
DS
Wait, no. I'm not gonna let you get away with that. I'm not gonna let you get away with that because the fucking Wii had Call of Duty every goddamn year. I don't want to hear that bullshit.
Yeah,
I know. I 100% agree. It should have Call of Duty and Madden. But I'm saying I hate that argument whether or not he had it at launch, and I'm like, because I actually realistically at this point I have no idea why they don't put at least one or two of them on there. Like at this point,
it doesn't make any sense.
The fan base is there, the money is there. It ain't like people ain't aware of what the Switch is. Like I don't understand what the problem is at this point. That's why I said Nintendo for some reason will always struggle in this sense, and I can't tell if it's just the console or if it's like the industry's issue with Nintendo in some aspects, and it irks the fuck out of me. When it comes, especially with cases like this, where literally it was like, there's no reason why you shouldn't have put it on the console.
Yeah, I understand why they're not.
They put fucking what was it, Dead Rising on the fucking Wii. It was like half a quarter of the zombies, but goddamn, they put that shit on there. So
That's what I'm saying.
they can do it if
Even
they want to. They just don't want to do it.
Well, why
Or
though?
even
It's
on the
money on the table.
I don't know why. I don't know.
Yeah, they made
You
a
put fucking
version for the
$20
Call of Duty on the DS, yo.
Go ahead, Robert.
Yeah,
They made Call of Duty versions for the DS, dude. The fucking DS. Like,
For
how
the
the hell can you?
DS.
How can you now make it for Switch? And that, you're going from the 360 to the DS. I don't want to hear no, oh, well, they can't do this to that. Like, you could keep shrinking and shrinking. And shrinking.
Well, they
They're
just-
making more money than they ever fucking made. So it's not a money or a resources issue because they're making more
Yeah, they
money.
made like $1
at
billion
least
off
these
of-
specific companies are.
they made it
Like,
off
there's no
microtransactions.
excuse.
In China, they got like a Call of Duty online game where it's just like all the best maps from all the Call of Duties.
That's all it needs to be. You don't need.
That's
all
all
it
it
needs
needs.
to be.
Yeah.
Call
And
of
just
Duty Switch. Oh, that's it. I would play that more than any new.
the
Call of Duty.
360
They're
version.
gonna sell at least 1 million of those. I mean, I don't understand what the problem is.
Yeah, I just at this point it's just pure confusion. I legit can't think of what is the problem. What is that thing that makes you go, nah, I'm not doing this? Like I don't get it.
Because then they could release it for the other consoles too and be cross-platform
Yeah.
lobbies and stuff. And I mean, it just because it was 60 frames per second on 360. Just take the 360 version, run it at native 1080 with 60 frames per second if it could do native 1080, or close to it. Just clean up the visuals. The games were fast. It was all about the action, the controls, the Twitch gameplay. People are gonna buy it, whether it's not gonna be a 10
Grand
million
Theft Auto
seller. But
5. It's on 360.
How
GTA
the hell
5.
It's on PS3.
And then-
Why that shit ain't on
That's
Switch?
one of the weirdest decisions. I
And then
really don't get it.
Rockstar could boast about having maybe not, but having like look how impressive our port of GTA 5 is on the Switch. Look at what we accomplished, and like so 1 million people buy it at $40 or $60, whatever they want to charge. And I'm just like, not that I care because I don't care about that game.
Yeah, I'm not gonna buy it. I don't give a shit.
I'm just
but
trying to
you
figure
know
out
what
why
kind
they
of
don't care.
notoriety.
Why don't they
There's
want
an
it on
audience
there?
for it though.
Yeah, that would be some, and it doesn't make any. I think the problem isn't even it not being there as much as it just doesn't make any sense at this point. Like when you had all these excuses on the Wii U about the games aren't selling well, or we're competing with Nintendo's IPs, even though there are other old ports that they've been putting out on the consoles have been doing well. So I'm like, what? Like I don't understand. Every one of your excuses is not valid anymore. So what is it?
You know what I hate about the excuse of the about we can't compete with Nintendo's IP on the Wii U, but then people say the Wii U had Nintendo IP droughts for like months and months. You didn't
It
compete
had no
with
games.
Nintendo.
That's what confused me about that argument because I was like, well, you
But
know,
they
there's a bunch of gaps. Actually, the Wii U's launch was literally for the third parties. It was like, guys, here's a free window to put out all your games, and we're not really putting out much.
You could make that case for this year for the Switch for being large gaps for, and maybe I mean if Doom Eternal would have come out on Switch in like May or June or something with no competition, like that was their best chance probably for that to sell.
Yeah.
Now it's gonna be.
When you gonna put that out now? Next year?
Does it come out in March?
Fucking is packed. It's packed already for
Switch
next
is
year.
packed.
I mean,
Like,
guys,
nobody's gonna give a shit about a year-old port of Doom Eternal.
And Robert, did you beat it yet?
I did.
What do you think?
Yeah,
what do you think Switch is gonna do for that last boss fight with all the 10s and or 20, 30, 40 other enemies?
Yeah, a lot of shit going on. I mean, again, it's not like it's impossible. They're just gonna dial it down. You know?
I mean, dial it down. Some people are willing.
Well, again, like the big selling point is the fact that you know if you're gonna buy on a Switch, the likely scenario is you also want to play it portably. So and there's a whole damn Switch Lite community out there. Like there's people who would want to play. You know, I mean, Witcher 3 sold really well. Witcher 3 sold really well. It almost outsold the Xbox One version.
Yeah. Doom 2016, Skyrim, they all sold really well.
It's insanity.
At this point, it's like what's the problem? Like, is it the bad history or what? I don't know what it is.
Well, you could look at it too, though. But how much? Not like now that Microsoft owns them, it might not be as much of a big deal. But Doom Eternal came out March 20th, and there's no release date in sight for the Switch. So if you've had to pay Panic Button for a year and a half because they started working on it beforehand to port this game, I don't know what that cost them, but you know that's.
It was supposed to come out day and date.
It was, and then then they decided they couldn't do that, and then they said they were going to finish these platforms. Well, the other platforms have gotten the first DLC already before the Switch version even comes out.
I think in order for the Switch owners to want to buy it, they got to put the DLC in.
I just wonder. I just wonder if it's even at this point is it even worth coming out.
Oh no! We can't compete with Nintendo. They're gonna release Breath of the Wild 2 in the next 2 years or something.
Yeah, but like a lot of these companies ended up doing exclusive deals. There are certain IPs that literally don't show up on any other system. Like for the longest time, actually, I know it's a smaller tier franchise, but I'll mention it. Phoenix Wright, fucking Ace Attorney, that only shows up on Nintendo consoles. I don't even. And I'm like, so you guys have enough faith to put to try the smaller games out, but it kind of went into the issue people have with the 3DS and Wii U, where you would use the 3DS as a way to make a bunch of money off the Nintendo fans, and then you create like this HD collection, kind of pretty much Resident Evil Revelations. That's what it is. Where we got the original 3DS game. Oh, here's the HD port and the sequel. Nah, we're not gonna give that to you. What? Why? Like, the fuck?
Well, unfortunately, I mean, there's even like the new game one game that came out was Ghost Runner.
Yeah.
And all game right on so apparently I mean on PC it looks fucking gorgeous, but apparently even on like PlayStation 4, PS4 it doesn't look all too great, and the Switch version is pretty tough, yo. It's pretty rough looking.
I saw a trailer. I didn't see anybody like playing
rough
it.
Looking.
I didn't know that was coming out. What's it called?
Ghost Runner.
Ghost Runner.
I saw the trailer for it.
I think Nintendo Life has a thing for it. Nintendo Life, one of them have like it's definitely Nintendo Life, and
performance review Switch Up 5 days ago. I didn't watch that one. You should watch all his.
It's pretty rough. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it technically works, but I think honestly, I think it's just the developer because even apparently the PS4 version and PS4 Pro version aren't good looking.
Well,
like,
it uses is it Unreal or is it 505 games? Of course, 505. They don't have the best track record right now. How did I miss this review? I usually watch Switch Up's reviews for games that I'm somewhat interested in.
Well, I'm telling you, the game though is fucking awesome.
Fucking commercial
on PC. It looks incredible. It does look incredible on PC. I'm not gonna lie.
Wow, yeah, this is definitely that's quite the downgrade. Holy shit! Like this area here, I'm not gonna say N64 visuals, but I might say GameCube.
N64.
I might say This is GameCube to me because I know that this ground texture in this pathway
I like how they hide it.
Should have a texture, and look at
Behind all
the
the text.
level of detail distance is like right in front of the
Oh,
dude.
yeah, it's like right in front of your foot. What the fuck?
Yeah.
So it's
I like how they hit it. They hit it at the beginning with all the text and shit in front.
But
of
I think it's an Unreal Engine, and that's just has a track record on Switch of being a real tough engine.
Yeah.
To get without huge sacrifices of resolution.
It can do it, but
Yeah, like,
it depends on the developer and it depends on the game.
Also, the thing
Yoshi's
is, the problem with
Crafted
something
World,
like
son.
like Ghost Runner.
I think that was them
Nintendo, like, was saying
experimenting.
that-
It just didn't work out. That's the way I look at that one.
You're saying he was having a problem actually seeing the people because they would like
Pop
it's all
in.
blending in terms of like the colors and stuff.
yeah,
And
this
so
is
the problem is that
I would say
Oof.
this is an example
Oof.
of it wasn't worth it. You know, it wasn't worth the Switch port unless it was a situation where more money could have fixed it.
Oof.
But this end result doesn't look like it was worth it.
Some of them textures, yo.
I'm also sure I'm sure also the developer isn't the most up to par when it comes to because even the PS4 Pro version isn't.
Let's
isn't
look at
Yeah, they
PS4
fucking up.
Pro.
Yeah, they
It
fucked
says
up all the
2
time.
weeks ago. It says it's awful. Yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't look
Although
good.
I think it looks fine, but like I know
This ain't
like,
fine,
I
dude.
saw that
It's
one video.
screen
The guy-
tearing like a motherfucker. It's
Oh, I know this
jaggies.
game now.
This looks terrible. This doesn't look too much better than the Switch version.
Yeah, I just don't think they knew
This
what the
looks
fuck they were.
trash.
Yeah, I think
Holy
this is more on the
shit.
developer than the console. at
This
point.
this looks like a 360 game. No, I'm not not trying to be funny. This looks like Xbox 360.
What if I
Early.
thought it was funny though?
Oh, yeah, oh, that's right. Yeah, it does have the screen tears. Okay, yeah, you're
But
right.
look at
you're
the
right, you're right. Yeah,
jaggies,
the
man.
screen
This
tears
looks fucking.
Yeah, that screen tear is making me give me a headache and
So
shit.
this is a game you'd have to play on the PS5 through
Oh, the PC version.
backwards
oh my
compatibility,
God.
and it would
The
probably
same
clean up.
game. What the fuck?
Oh,
Yeah, I saw
look
the
at
PC
yeah, look
version.
at
I saw
the
somebody-
PC version.
It's got ray
I was wondering
tracing
on the,
too.
Fucking-
That's insane. That's not
Video.
even the. How is it the same game?
Yeah.
Shit is
Christ.
gorgeous.
That is a
PC
disgusting.
PC
Yeah, but you gotta have a
destroys
$1,200
the-
graphics card for it to look like it
I mean,
does.
obviously, but shit, that's just rough, man. That's tough.
Unless
And
you,
the one on my PC on my 2070 it looks fucking great.
well, yeah, 2070 Super, you pretty decent, but like to get what they're showing in a lot of these videos, 2080 Ti, which is now you can get the same performance for $600 if you can find a 3070, which you can't. They're harder to find than the PS5.
Bastards.
But
I heard people calling
I
me
was,
on Discord.
what was another? I
That
said
is a-
Need for Speed. Even the Need for Speed Hot Pursuit isn't. There isn't much going on visually for the Switch version.
I think the worst part of that was the fact that it's 30 instead of 60, and I was like, come on, bro, like what? I mean, it's a locked 30, but still, you're like, well, just put it at 60 then. Like,
What was it on the other?
Bruh, I'm on a
version?
podcast. Stop calling me. I don't know who you are.
who's calling you?
I don't know somebody I don't even recognize.
Like
Satan.
this does not. There's better looking games on this. Grid looked better than this. Like the texture popping and it.
Did you say grid?
I think Grid looks way better than this.
Oh.
To be a 30
fucking-
frames per second game and look like this, like that's what we're getting. That's what the Switch is getting for majority of third-party games. Is this?
Pokemon looks better than that.
Ooh.
What that shit when I was muted? Fuck you, Dretro.
You know, for every 10, 15, 20 of these, you get an Alien Isolation. That looks
Yeah.
like
At least Alien Isolation apparently looks slightly better than PS4.
it's got
apparently.
one graphical setting that's better than PS4. Overall, it's a blurrier, slightly blurrier, but no, it's real close. It's really close.
Pretty impressive for
Hmm.
what it's running on.
And this was a cross-gen game. This wasn't a PS4. This was a PS3, Xbox 360 game that came to PS4 and Xbox One. So, but yeah,
Have you seen the Xbox 360 version though?
no.
Pretty a lot more blurry than you.
Yeah, the
think.
Switch version actually
what?
does look better in a lot of instances. So, this can happen. I don't know if it's the game engine or if that was an early.
I'll tell you that Alien Isolation was surprised the hell out of me when I saw it. I was like,
It's
Game
them
engine
who
slash
fucking
effort
care,
and
that's
ability.
it.
This looks good, yeah. So, but thinking, 3 years from now,
Shit looks blurry on the PS4 to me.
what the hell are we gonna, what the hell is the Switch gonna be getting? Is it gonna be getting more 360 PS3 games, or is there gonna be a Switch Pro and with like we talked about with that upscaling technique, the DLSS, where it can run the game at 540 but actually output it at 1080 or 1440, and it looks almost as good as native. If they could do something like that, that would be a game changer for the Switch moving forward. Like especially the docked play. Not so much portable, because portable, most games look pretty good in portable. Out of the ones I have, there's only one that looks trash, and that was Hellblade, where I couldn't even play it in portable mode. What's Mohammed saying?
He said, "Switch third party hurts my eyes."
Yeah, we should do a sizzle reel of Ark, fucking that
Ooh.
Ghost Runner, that one
That's
where you
right.
create Tropica, whatever, Tropica 6. Somebody do a sizzle reel with like
no, what the fuck was that, yo? Tropico 6
This
genuinely
is bum
looks
life.
like, I don't like when people say it looks like a PS2 game, but it literally looks like a 1080
early
PS2
360
game.
game, maybe.
Beta.
It's so weird.
Somebody should do a sizzle reel and make like epic music like it's supposed to be hyped, and then have all the worst looking Switch games in it. That would be funny.
That would be hilarious. People would be pissed off. That should get downvoted.
Yeah.
But that shit would be funny. I think I should do that. That's hilarious.
Realistically,
Using the music from the Switch demo, or not demo, but Switch highlight reels and shit. Using that music.
I'm also gonna say, like, realistically, we were looking at like Nintendo extending their like life cycles for the Switch specifically. If you gave me like 3DS tier,
Starts here.
well, that
You need
too.
to do these.
Well, I listen, we're taking baby steps, and unfortunately, it doesn't include the controller. Fucking, if we're talking about third party, if you gave me 3DS tier, I think I would be content personally. Like, just a maintain of a good, because realistically, it's that power creep is going to become a problem. Like, we already know that. Juice has already kind of made that clear in a lot of his videos. Like, it wouldn't be a bad idea to try to go the 3DS route and focus on exclusive experiences that you can only get,
like Bravely
Kinda
Default
like-
2.
yeah, like things that like we only get even if they're not like, and some of those games end up being more graphically like more impressive as a result, because we get a bunch of stylized games and shit.
Yeah, because Bravely Default 2, the when you're moving through the towns and stuff, that looks really unique and cool. Like,
Yeah,
do more of that.
It's like you're moving through a painting. Yeah,
and do less of trying to bring over this photorealistic games.
unless
Bring
the
over-
game, unless you can get away with it, but you got to make sure you can get away with it. Don't fucking just
Federation Force and
Yeah, start
Hero
porting
Enter-
3DS games. Not Wii U.
no.
Once they run out of Wii U games, they can do 3DS, because apparently
The only 3DS port I want is Kid Icarus. That's the only one I want.
apparently Samus
True.
Returns is coming, because somebody used an image from Samus Returns in a promo to put in.
Yeah.
Somebody had a Switch in their hand, and just to have something on screen, they pulled it from Samus Returns, and it was a cleaned up version of the cutscene. It wasn't the direct 3DS footage. So people wanted to make videos about that. Like, that was a accidentally leaked Samus Returns port for Switch HD. And honestly, it was a decent game, but I don't want that game to come to Switch, because it doesn't really represent what Metroid really is capable of, because you're just fighting the same damn
At this
enemies
point.
over and over and over. It's like,
yeah.
it's got everything else, the level design, the power-ups, and I did like the little melee move, but just fighting the same damn things over, it felt like a handheld game, which it was initially, and then it was on a handheld again. We talked about that a little bit in the chat about games feeling like mainline series, and the Metroids, I never played the original Metroid 2, but as far as, other than Fusion, like Metroid Prime Hunters, Metroid Prime Federation Force, didn't really feel like, like a Metro, and even Samus Returns to an extent didn't feel like you were getting a full Metroid experience, like a console Metroid, whether it's 2D or not. It didn't have that for me. So I actually don't want Samus Returns port. I mean, it would have made sense for them to do that.
Yeah, now it doesn't
But
make
it's too
sense.
late now. But if they would have just pushed it to Switch instead of 3DS, it would have made sense.
I think that's the main problem with 3DS ports is that like this is the same issue I complained about when they did it for a couple of the 3DS games and put them on console. I'm like, you can tell these games were made for handhelds because the level design was you can't make like a console level. It's honestly it's the issue. Ironically enough, the Vita had for a while, where like they would try to put console level games on a handheld. That shit doesn't work because it's a different gaming sensibility. The difference is here, if you went from like handheld to console, you be feeling like you're getting like a gimped ass experience. Why are these corridors so short? Why is that camera only panning in this one direction? Oh, because if you turned it, there's a fucking invisible wall because we couldn't put that much on the 3DS. Like that's a hell of a jump to just try to do a straight port.
Yeah.
From the 3DS, which is essentially the game going to that Switch.
They could do what Bluepoint does, which might take a little more work. They take the base code so it plays the same, but then you just put a new graphics engine on top of it. So it's just they have to design, new textures, new visuals and stuff, but you have the base game underneath. And they seem to be able to get out games in under 2 years, from Shadow of the Colossus to Demon Souls by using that technique. So, they could apply that to some 3DS games, but
bring Kid Icarus, god damn it.
Kid Icarus. I mean, I never
Kid
played
Icarus
it.
is the only one, and that's only because because that IP is essentially dead again, and two, because that game really needed a second analog stick.
It needed a second analog.
I played that game and I love that game so fucking much. I would replay it again on Switch just out of principle. Just
the motherfucking game came with a stand, so you can have both hands.
Yeah, it did.
On the thing, so you don't have to hold the 3DS, so you can use the touchscreen. I mean, it was insane. It's insane that they did that.
That was my first 3DS game, and I didn't know that was a Kid Icarus thing initially. So I thought that was what all 3DS games come with stands. What is this shit? Like, why? And then I was like, never mind. My hand hurt.
You're nuts, Nintendo, for doing that.
Well, it's partially Sakurai and his insanity.
Yeah,
he's like, I'm gonna make this great ass game on the 3DS, and the 3DS can't handle it.
But remember the thumb nub, the thumb.
Yeah, no. Well, they also had the Pro thing, and he was like, "Well, I was already developing the game before that thing came out, so I didn't really get a chance."
They didn't even use the fucking Pro. Like, I went out and bought that thing, thinking, good.
They barely used it.
It doesn't work.
No, it doesn't. Like I said, that's the only game I'd be like, all right, fine, port it. I'm 100% cool with that one.
All right, let me. I just checked. There's a few questions, and Lightning continues his streak of. I have no idea what this question's asking. I don't know if I should read it and see if you guys can decipher. I have absolutely.
I'll go into it. Let's see.
All right, so Lightning. Been a long time, but question for the crew: who do you honestly followed or subscribed to a YouTuber who you were able to learn some consoles and accessories existed after watching their content, talking about it in certain videos?
Oh, that one's like, which YouTubers do we watch who who we found out about an accessory or something through that YouTuber? Like, it's a really off-brand question.
We learned that,
and
like, who
could use some commas in there
too.
too.
We learn some consoles and stuff.
You could put some commas in there.
Like, for example, like let's say you watch like
sentences.
like you watch like a like a John what's his name, John Austin. I think
John Tron?
No,
I've never learned of an accessory from watching another YouTuber. So that's my answer.
I have, and it's Gaming Historian. You guys don't know Gaming Historian?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know, but I thought you were gonna say what the thing was first.
I can't remember it specifically because he shows so much obscure shit.
Yeah,
that's great.
It was that NES fucking thing that I don't know what it's called, that goes over your head and it has like an eye. It's weird.
Oh, that helmet thing. I saw it
like
from
VR.
I saw it from the
VR. It's like I never even.
I saw it from the nerd.
Yeah, it was an angry video in there. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of
but for me, I'd say I mean, yeah, angry video game nerd. I mean, there's always like different. I see his examples, CGR Undertow, RIP to those guys. I really like that
I miss
channel. But
CGR and
I do miss
yeah,
CGR.
I like that. And there's always a bunch of different games, I guess you could say, from multiple YouTubers that that just play older games, random games that they learned about, and yeah, I guess those.
Who was it?
Whatever
Derek?
YouTuber.
Derek? It was Derek, right?
I like
CGR
that guy.
Undertow?
Do you guys believe
And he used to
Mohammed?
play every damn Wii game, so I would learn a lot of Wii games from him.
Mohammed says
Oh,
he
yeah.
learned about what a Wii U was from me watching my. I don't know if I believe that. And my video feed just got really blurry.
What?
That's just hate.
He is
I
such
believe-
a
I
big
believe- I believe it.
fanboy. I can't believe that.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
I don't believe
camera's
that
all
shit at
out of
all.
focus now. There it goes.
Oh, it's good.
Um,
Who? Me?
mine was.
Oh.
So
Damn.
rule of two, according to Dave97, rule of two says Metroid Prime 4 will be the Fire Emblem Awakening for the Metroid series. Do you agree?
Yeah,
I
he said that. I had no idea.
I want to see a Metroid Prime 4 before I answer that
What
I
is
question.
don't think it needs to be.
What does that mean in that wouldn't like
Oh,
That
it's
would
so
have
Save
been
the
one to
franchise.
Save the franchise,
Yeah,
become
like
more
the way-
popular.
what he's yeah, but like Metroid was always
Metroid's already
Can't
sold what
It's
Fire
something
Emblem
that's already
sells.
dead. Oh.
Yeah.
Metroid usually sold what Fire Emblem Awakening sold. So
No,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Oh, really?
Or
I
a little
thought
bit
it-
Did
more.
he say that in a video? I haven't.
I thought Fire Emblem has sold more than
like
Metroid,
1 to
right?
2 million, right?
Let's
Pretty
see.
sure
let's see.
Fire Emblem
I don't know,
sold
man.
more than Metroid.
I think
Awakening's
Fire
like
Emblem
1 to
had-
2 million. It's in between.
yeah.
Prime
Fire
1
Emblem-
and Prime 1 sold like 1.8. Prime 2 sold 1 million. Prime 3 wasn't. I don't know why I didn't do that well. But
Yeah, they already sell. I see what he's going, but the idea behind that would imply that like Metroid is still one of Nintendo's more recognizable
I
franchises
don't know about that.
compared to
Technically,
well,
technically.
it's not like
when you-
people get up for or think about Fire Emblem. Like it was a very niche crowd of people who played Fire
Yeah.
Emblem to begin with,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
you weren't bringing anybody new in where it wasn't like this strong core fan base of Fire Emblem people. You know the way there is with Metroid. Like everybody's ready for the next
Yeah,
Metroid.
that's
Where
true.
it wasn't like that with Fire Emblem, even up
Exactly.
until like
yeah, 'cause
Awakening.
they weren't
So it's
doing anything
Yeah,
close to a
well-
million before Awakening came
Yeah.
out.
Well, comparing it
So-
to the like on
but
VG
the
charts,
thing is,
Metroid
oh, go ahead.
way more actually. Like you compare it to VG charts, Metroid's super consistent. It sells over 1 million like all the time. It looks like almost.
I think it's
Yeah.
especially like what T says. That's the thing. Awakening is not like, oh, it saved the franchise. No, Awakening made the franchise. Nobody knew
That's
what it
true.
was before
That's
that.
true.
And
Yeah, it pretty
Metroid,
much made it.
people
What
knew
did
what
they
it was
say it?
since the NES. It has always been a thing. It's not that all of a sudden Metroid comes and all of a sudden everybody knows what Metroid is. Everybody already knows what Metroid is. Nobody fucking buys the games. Like that's.
I just hope Retro Studios is up to the task and we
Yeah,
get
and
a-
I'm just wondering, like, because Fire Emblem Awakening did some things that was different that
Yeah,
appealed
and-
more to a lot more
Mhm.
people.
yeah.
Is there any inkling of that happening for Metroid Prime 4? I don't know if we have any information.
My
on
question
anything
is,
like
what
that.
could you do?
Yeah, what are you gonna do to like expand Metroid's audience?
I
Well,
think
that's not
adding
that's not gonna piss off the core fans for one.
adding a good multiplayer mode probably could
Well, that,
help. But
yeah,
I don't
that
know,
would
man.
be-
Switch.
Well, Metroid's kind of made for multiplayer.
I think
I don't think
this-
Switch multiplayer, like that kind of multiplayer, has really made any. No one's made any kind of
You
headroom.
didn't like multiplayer in Prime 2?
I never tried it because I didn't have anybody to play with.
Played
But
it. I've played it. It's kind of.
I'm just saying, I don't think, as far as first-person shooter
I
type
don't
stuff,
wanna
we
hear
haven't
about
really
first.
seen a lot of success on Switch game. The third-party games I've tried it. Fortnite's probably the only like real successful, and that's a third-person. Whatever. It's a completely different thing. But I don't know.
So
what
can
they-
I ask you guys this? Because we dick around with this stuff already, but like I always say, like Retro Studios, they made like Prime and Donkey Kong. Okay, they made like 2 good games and shit. And in the last 10 years, everybody every year goes like, "What game is Retro working on? What are they working on?" And then after 5 years, oh, you get like a port of like Tropical Freeze, and after 5 years, you hear nothing anymore. Are you guys even confident you're gonna get Metroid Prime 4 anytime fucking in the next like 5 years?
Yeah.
I mean,
think
they have
yeah.
like really trouble with game output, you know.
they didn't.
Yeah, but
that's the thing. They didn't. So
they-
something
Yeah,
happened.
but that's my point.
But the irony is that over the past couple of years, they've definitely been trying to at least beef up their studio a lot.
Yeah, they didn't really have a studio at one point,
Which
So
was
they-
actually more baffling
lost
how
a
the
bunch
hell
of
they
people.
were
And
how
it's-
they were making games.
Like
Like
somebody pointed out in the chat, R8, I have to say R8, that 343 has some of the people left Metroid or left the Retro Studios, like the art director,
Mhm.
and he went to do Halo 4, and Halo 4 looked like Metroid Prime. They're having
Right.
so much turnaround and so many issues that hopefully get that guy back or somebody else back that
They
maybe
go
have
back to
left.
Retro.
Because I
But do
know
you want the motherfuckers back when
I
they
don't
just
know.
got up and left? Like, can you trust them to hold, to do the task?
because otherwise, the best we could hope for is they got a bunch of different people that weren't involved in Metroid Prime 1, 2, or 3, that they can come up with something unique and not just try to emulate what they just play the first 3 games and try to emulate that and try to recreate that. Kind of like, as much as I like Shadow of the Tomb Raider, it was a different studio and it kind of felt more along the lines of they were just trying to emulate what Rise of the Tomb Raider did with their own little spin and less like a true sequel. Same thing with Batman Origins or whatever. Arkham Origins, same thing, where they had a different studio make one and it didn't feel like quite the same experience.
Right.
So
The one thing I do want you to emulate is that 60 frames per second, though.
yeah, that's
Please do.
Yep.
all right. So Deku Tree says 4 members of Game Explain have left. I didn't know that.
yeah, they have
1 went to Nintendo Life and 3
Really?
started their
Yeah.
own channel.
Derek Ash and John.
And
who am I
Derek
missing?
left?
Yeah, Derek is doing Good
And,
Vibes Gaming. On
oh, they're all doing good.
So
they're all
just
doing good.
Andre?
not all of them. No. John's on Nintendo Life now. But
Who the fuck is
John's
left?
the only one. Though. No,
John's
John's the only one that's not. Steve also left.
yeah, but Steve wasn't even
Steve-
there that long. That's what killed me. Steve
I haven't
Hey, man,
been
he
subscribed
left,
to them,
he
so I
left.
don't know who you even talk about. I know
Yeah, Derek, Ash, and
who's
I
the
know
one
Derek
that
and Ash
Steve, my
and
man.
the British guy.
Steve.
What's his name?
I didn't like. it.
John and Steve.
No. John's on Nintendo Life.
Yep.
Derek and Ash are doing their own channel, but they're using John's
No,
own
and
personal.
And Steve. Why
Who?
are you not including Steve?
I don't know who Steve is.
Because I always forget Steve. I'll be real with you. I can forget Steve.
Isn't
lot.
Ash
Damn.
the one
Like
with
you
like
told me
the?
Steve.
I don't know. He's
So is
definitely.
it just
Really?
Andre now?
Andre has gotten like a bunch of new people.
Andre and like new hires.
Because
Yeah.
Andre wasn't doing a lot of videos. I wonder if they left because
Yeah, he got slowed down for.
he really didn't do videos there. You
Well,
never
the
heard-
irony is that Derek and John both had kids literally around the same time. I think they both literally just had kids. So I was like, oh, I guess. And then they were like, oh, we're leaving Game Explain. I'm like, oh.
Kids ruin
What?
everything, I tell you.
I think the reason they
Damn.
left probably is just the fact that they want to do different content probably and
Yeah,
I'm
but
sure,
like,
I'm sure Andre's probably like, no, we can't do this Metroid movie thing. We can't have this on it. We're close to Nintendo. We got to do this thing. We got to do the news. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
they're very.
And I'm sure they want to do the news, but
Those
also
terrible
expand
news
on it.
bites.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah.
They have a minute 20 video to tell you something that you just read on Twitter. Like once they started doing that, that's when I unsubbed.
That's what turned me off too.
Yeah,
Like you
I
can't
get
even
that.
give. It's not even worth. Like the news story isn't even worth enough for you to have 5 minutes of thoughts on it. Like you can just tell
yeah,
me.
but
the
the whole premise.
I don't
is-
want all that shit in my feed. You know,
Yeah, but the
I
whole
want
point is like
fucking
clickbait.
20
Like,
videos in a day from Game Explain in my
I get
feed. Like that's just
Let me go to
trash
Game
to me.
Explain. I have not been checked them out in a while.
Yeah, they've essentially most of them are on good.
So who
Vibes
did
Gaming.
the Pikmin 3 review then?
It wasn't. I think it was Andre.
Did that
Andre.
shit 7 years ago, didn't
No,
Yeah.
Andre did. Andre did the deluxe review. Yeah,
they?
I haven't watched.
Andre. I watched it.
Well, that's why it's Good Vibes Gaming. It's Steve. I know you don't know who they is.
I know,
Steve.
I
No,
know
here's
who
exactly
Steve
what I was
is.
talking
It's
I
about.
think it's Steve from
was-
Minecraft. That's all I
Steve
think.
was
about.
not. Steve wasn't. Steve to me was still too new for me to be like, damn, he left.
I didn't even know there was a Steve. But this is exactly what I'm talking about. A minute
What?
47. Capcom suffers massive data hack. 2:12. Did Nintendo accidentally leak Samus Returns? Like a 2-minute video. I guess some people like that stuff, but if you have no thoughts on it and you're just gonna relay what I just saw on Twitter, someone in 5 seconds I've read.
That's literally the.
Like,
how are they even making money off of this shit?
I kind of want to hear his thoughts. Spider-Man's saves will be transferable to PS5. Like 1:53. Like that just
they just do. They start doing.
That's
news
not that's not worthy of a video.
But it is worth ad clips.
That's not worth me sitting for a 15-second ad for a 2-minute video.
But the premise is that people will click it and they will get paid for it. And that's
they have a Miles Morales review. Wow.
I didn't even pay attention.
A PS5 review.
Yeah.
Best controller ever? Question mark. Should have been 3 question marks. Let me listen. I want to see who did this one.
Steve. Steve did it. Big gun.
Who's the Steve guy you keep talking about?
Robert loves Steve.
Yeah, because
Steve.
I know who Steve is.
Console for this review was provided by PlayStation.
Steve wasn't around.
Yeah, I don't know his voice.
I recognize
Sony is banking on players still wanting that next generation.
It's been over a year since I've been subbed. So
the new people I've seen on there are all right. They seem to be fine so far.
Well, they're expanding because they got a Series X review. They got PS5 review.
Yeah,
those Magma Basin hands.
DualSense controller works on Switch. 1:37 seconds.
You know the one member in
Game Explain. The headline is all I need. I don't need you to. What are you gonna say in the?
You know the one member of Game Explain that always baffled me. How is he still a part of Game Explain? Tom. What the fuck?
Well, he's just an editor. He's just an editor or something.
Is he literally just an editor?
Wasn't Ash the guy though with like the really bad opinions when they had discussions?
Oh no, Ash was fucking terrible with his opinions.
Yeah, he didn't know shit.
Ash is also the son of Rob Paulson, and I didn't know that until I saw like a Twitter picture I think for Father's Day, and it threw me off completely.
They don't have a review of that Rice.
Ash is like that dude from Corridor. Like. Your job is to like do visual effects for movies, and this dude has never seen any fucking movies. And
that guy drives me crazy.
Annoys the piss out of me.
He's such a hipster.
He knows
all the Jackie Chan movies and stuff, but
he doesn't know.
He don't know any like major movie that came out in the last 10 years. It's annoying.
I just want to punch him in his face.
It just threw me off when I realized his dad was like really. I grew up listening to his dad, and I was like, what the fuck? It's so
Robert Paulson. Who is he?
No, Rob Paulson, the dude who did like Yakko's
his
voice
name
in
is Robert Paulson.
That's what I was thinking about. Fucking Fight Club.
Robert won't know what that
sorry. Jesus Christ.
His name is Robert Paulson.
Sorry.
In life, his name is Robert Paulson. Or in life, he has no name. In death, his name is Robert Paulson.
Fucking movie so good.
Christ.
Somebody just mentioned something I wanted to. Oh, the corridor. Just real quick, I know this isn't gaming related, but the corridor like fight coordinator or stunt coordinator guys breaking down fight scenes. I can't watch a movie now without seeing all these major flaws in these fight scenes. I was just watching Star Trek 2009 yesterday morning. I would have woke up and told you that movie's in my top 10 all-time movie list. I watched it.
Yeah.
It hasn't aged well. I haven't watched it probably 6 years. It's not even in my top 100 now, but it has some of the worst fight choreography, choppy. Somebody just like, you see something moving, all of a sudden someone's falling, and you have no idea. And it's like, once they pointed out that stuff, I can't. Now I see it everywhere, like in everything I watch.
It happened to me ever since I went to film school. I completely ruined movies for me. I was watching the Corridor video, and they had a black. Did I just see a black spot? And it was like totally had a black spot. So
by the way, apparently
you guys shouldn't be having black spots in your videos. What the hell is this shit?
Okay, so by the way, real quick, apparently Mario 3D All Stars got a new update. It now
shit!
It now supports the. It can't. No, it also supports the GameCube controller.
Oh really?
Oh,
yeah,
that's pretty.
Yeah.
Does it support?
Fuck you, T.
Does it support the analog triggers?
It does what it should have done from the beginning.
I knew T was gonna be on it.
Does it support the analog triggers though?
I don't know if it supports the analog triggers.
Yeah, that's another question.
The patch literally just
came out. It's pretty big.
That is, I mean,
it does. It should be.
It should have been there.
I would like, this is shit it should have done already.
I'm at least glad they're patching it.
Does it make it so that Mario can actually? Can he actually move slowly now, or is it still just run?
Well, the problem is they do that. Well, listen, they do that thing where they say other general fixes have been applied to improve overall game experience. I don't know what that is. We won't know until we.
Because you gave up playing it, didn't you? You didn't keep playing.
They're gonna
Sunshine.
make me open up my game. They're gonna make me open it up.
Mine's still
I'm
sealed.
I'm gonna fucking since I have next week off, I'm gonna try to get through a bunch.
Every
of
time I watch somebody's like little clip or watch reviews of that game and the Sunshine, a couple people actually pointed it out. Like they removed Mario
stretch.
walking. It's literally just him running, and then
That's crazy.
Then people like, shit, I don't want to run, go the other way. Then he slides, and then he runs the other way. And if you hit jump, he does a freaking side flip or whatever. And it's just like, how did you mess that up? I mean, it was never.
We know that game already had great controls.
Yeah, it was never great, but at least you could crawl or walk really slow if you needed to. And
I'm just saying, that's the one game you shouldn't be making the controls worse.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, you remember when remember we were talking to Clock? The Clock, they were saying that Sunshine is really
Jesus
bad.
Christ.
What do you say, Robert?
What the fuck?
Remember we were talking to Clock, and Clock, they were saying, oh yeah, you know what? It maybe isn't that good either, Sunshine.
He said that?
Richard's ready to
Yeah, Clock, they were saying that, man.
When did he say that?
Why do you remember that? Is my question.
He said it. He said
Clock
it.
said he thinks.
He said it in the
Sunshine.
chat. He said, I don't really like Sunshine, actually.
Yeah, he
He said
said it's
Sunshine
trash.
bollocks or something. Bollocks.
Yeah.
Lord Almighty.
I mean,
He'll be back on next week.
Also, apparently they inverted the camera. You can now invert the
well,
camera.
they announced that like a month
Oh
ago.
goodness!
Yeah, but I guess this is the patch that includes it too.
They didn't say anything about the
Wow.
GameCube controller.
Wow.
I have a feeling it's just gonna
Invert the
work
camera
with the
in?
GameCube
Oh,
controller,
shit.
but the analog trigger thing's not gonna work. That's my prediction. Somebody
Maybe.
test it. Let us know.
Yeah, a lot of people are asking online.
That's
No
coming.
one's tried it yet.
And T.
That would be some
That's
bullshit.
dumb, then,
That it would patch it that you can use the GameCube controller, but it doesn't do analog. Like that would be
And
the
you still had to
biggest
use the
slap
other
in the
button.
face. That
Robert,
would be such bullshit.
wasn't it you that linked that video, or T, that what should have been done to the collection where they showed
That was me who made that.
did T make? No, somebody put one together. Was it T?
Where
they showed-
the video where I showed how they should have done the
the
menu and all that stuff.
Not the menu, no, the actual how people using mods
Oh, yeah.
running
Oh,
off
that was,
the emulator.
Running
Off emulators, people added mods that added a normal 3D camera to Mario 64. His whole point was this should have been an option. You should have been able to switch. Hey, I want to play it exactly like it was, or hey, I want to play it in widescreen, 1080p, 60 frames per second. Since you're going to use an emulator, here's what people are doing with the same emulator through modding. And he's like, Nintendo, not only are you losing to the competition as far as these remasters and stuff, you're not even beating your fans with what you're putting out. That was the whole premise of the video, and it was really well done. And he showed like these modders, it's the same emulator, and it's like here's a nice smooth 3D camera mod for Mario 64, which I don't know that I'd.
Oh, I showed the one with the texturing and all that stuff, where it's like a remake almost. Where
This was
they used the source code, so it still felt like Mario 64, which is what I want, but it just looks a lot better.
I wonder how I could. Robert, you linked that was like weeks ago.
Yeah, it was his name is I think Nerel.
Oh yeah, Nerel.
That channel's really good.
Yeah,
that channel's really
I've
good.
seen a lot of vids from there.
That's
How
the
do you
one with.
spell it,
Remember,
you
I said the motion control thing a while ago. Remember the motion control video?
How do you think? How do you spell
Right, like
that?
the motion. Nerell, I think.
Or is it two R's?
Yep. Or it's 2 R's, but it pops up anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, link that video. 'cause
That's when you know you're big on YouTube. If you misspell a name and you still pop up, hey, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
case for the competition. That's 12-minute video. It's definitely worth watching. And like he says, he's just showing what he's not even really going in on what other companies do, like, you know, with like the Insane Trilogy or anything. Like this is what modders are doing with emulation. That could be easily done if modders can do it. Nintendo should be able to do it. So But let's see. I think that
I'm skimming through Twitter just to see if anyone's.
No one's got an answer already. How is no one?
Most people are saying it behaves like it should, but I don't know if that.
What does that mean?
But no one's specifically mentioning the analog trigger.
Yeah, do you have to hit the Z button to stand still and shoot? And
oh, here we go.
That
Mario
would be
used
stupid.
The analog triggers for controlling how much water you spray. With the new update, do a half and R press to spray while walking like the original release. Okay. So I guess it does. I'm
is
just
the update
skimming.
out? Just download the damn update. Plug in your GameCube.
Well, yeah, but then I'm gonna plug on my fucking GameCube adapter. I don't want to do that shit. I don't care enough to do that.
Mine's always in.
Well, I wonder why.
What the game?
I thought you played with Joy-Cons, T.
For this moment, the whole Switch.
You can see it. See? There's mine right there.
Oh, I love that Wii U.
Always
Love that Wii U.
attached.
Nice. Look at that beautiful Wii U.
The GameCube adapter is actually
Yeah.
adapted it to the damn GameCube itself. That's really what's happening.
Well, it's
Right next to it.
Velcroed, but my switch is up here with the docking.
Oh, okay, I got you.
See, and then
And I see those.
the USBs are in the side.
We have a
T's True Plan, which is to show off his fucking lit setup again. That's what it
his
was.
Secret Saturdays, yo. Isn't that Secret Saturdays, yo?
Maritime. I gotta give credit to Maritime Gamer. He's putting facts in the chat. He says Sunshine is the worst 3D Mario. That was already proven with the poll I did.
Bullshit.
You're gonna make a retro.
Lucius
explode.
says Odyssey is the worst. That's surprising. I've never heard anybody say
I
Odyssey
totally
was
agree
the
with
I know
worst.
people
Odyssey,
have their.
Yeah.
I've heard people say Odyssey is boring. That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
No,
hipsters.
well, people, no, you know how it is. Like it's a
Hipsters.
new game,
Yeah, I
so
do know how
people
it
love
is.
it. Then all of a sudden,
Well, I'll say
the cycle, people hate it, and then
it'll be beloved. But I will say on the second playthrough,
Yeah.
I enjoyed
It's already
the-
beloved by 20 million people.
the main part of the game. I wouldn't say the main story, but the main moons you have to get and progress the
main
story.
moons-
I enjoyed
Well,
that
people-
significantly better more on the second playthrough. But on the flip side, on my
I've been-
second playthrough,
yeah, I've been playing-
getting all the extra little moons, I lost interest in way quicker. But the initial part of the game, which Retro would say your first playthrough, I enjoyed significantly more on the second time. So for whatever that's worth.
yeah, that's how I've been. Again, I've been playing
For Sunshine
right
or
now.
Odyssey?
Man,
That was
almost at
Odyssey.
200 moons.
Yeah, I didn't feel compelled to
at
just
200
keep
moons.
getting
I
all the
love it.
moons after. But I did really love the main meat of the game on my second playthrough. I probably would have had it higher on my Game of the Year list if I had played it twice before ranking. So I think I put it like 4th or 3rd, and I think it probably would have been. Probably would have.
Like zero back.
2017, yo, what a crazy year! 2017
Yeah,
is crazy.
where I had to struggle to pick a top 5, not just. Well, I played 5 games, so that's pretty easy. This year, if nothing changes, I have
What's
5
my
games.
goatee? What's your
I've played
goatee?
5 games this year, new.
Oh yeah, that's right. And also Zelda.
What about Hyrule Warriors? Hyrule Warriors.
That'll be the
2,
5.
6,
Actually,
and
that'll be the
technically?
5th game. So that'll be the 5th game.
Oh damn!
Also, most people.
Never mind.
Okay, so I started looking at comments and message boards. Most people are saying it's identical to the GameCube controls. So
Okay.
I guess we're back to analog
Alright. I mean, hey.
for the water.
I
for the
mean,
water
to me,
version.
that would be worth the purchase for me if it was, they put on separately $15 or $20 in the eShop. Yeah, I'd be down.
No, it's
bro.
gonna be 25.
Pick it up.
All right.
At this point, I might have to keep.
Oh,
I think I might have to.
25.
I think I
Yeah,
might have
it's
to
gonna be
keep my
25,
copy.
Oh
right?
yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Super Mario. Come on.
Yeah,
Mario,
they're gonna
man.
make it
It's Mario.
individual games higher than the total if you
They're-
split. it.
I would
guarantee.
hope what they're probably gonna do is they're gonna do like what
I
Bayonetta.
guess-
Bayonetta
so.
does, where Bayonetta has one of the games is 50, and the other game will turn into 10 after you buy the first game. But you have to spend the first game. So realistically, if you only won in Sunshine, you're still spending like $25-$30.
I can't see
looks so
64 being because it wasn't ever that on the
I would
Virtual
imagine
Console.
64 will probably be like 20.
Hey man, they
I
might
think
get
I'm
away
gonna
with
download
it
this
though.
version
They
of
might
Mario
get away with it.
This is great.
I mean, it all depends. It all fucking depends.
Wait, there's a fucking Mario Kart in Mario 64?
Yeah, that-
What is this shit?
That's when they take it too far. But the base 16:9, 60 frames per second, but otherwise is Mario 64.
It's
Yeah,
fucking
I do
glorious.
want to download that.
I'm downloading this shit.
But I think I'm gonna have to hold on to my 3D All Stars. I know I'm gonna have to because I put it down to $50 new and sealed, and I haven't not one person other than a trade offer for NBA 2K20, which I told you guys about. Used copy of NBA 2K20. He thought I'd trade him straight up.
How's that even
hilarious.
fair?
That is
How's that
Hilarious.
fair?
And then I was
That's
like, well,
not even fair,
NBA
dude.
brand new is only 30, and 3D All Stars is 60. Well, I'll give you $20 plus NBA. I'm like, dude, I don't want NBA. Well, whoa, why didn't you tell me that? I was like, I'm trying to point out how terrible your trade offer was, man. I said, if it's, and then I found out it was an open used copy. I was like, this thing's worth $10, $15 tops. Like, get the hell out of here. Because the new one's out. Like, that old one's worth, I mean, it might even be $5.
That shit depreciates just like that.
But
Well, every year they've been dropping it down to $1 or whatever. Every year now, they've been doing it for $1 sale.
so
Yeah, I got
I'm
it
just
for
gonna
$5.
hang on to 3D All Stars. I'm gonna put it with my Wii game collection in a bin under the couch behind me, and just someday I'll hear that they're going for $100 or something. I'll throw it on there.
It's going to happen, so just hold on to it.
But
Yeah,
I feel
it'll
like
take a
everybody
while.
who really wanted it bought it, and like there's so many. Every store I go to and look, there's just tons of copies. It's ridiculous how many copies there are.
Yeah, but what you got to realize is that there's plenty of games in the past of Nintendo or whatever that there were plenty of them, but for whatever reasons you go and look them up and they're like expensive. It's like, why is this game so expensive? It wasn't rare.
Mhm.
You know, like even like the GameCube Mario parties and shit. Why are they so expensive?
If you keep it
They weren't
sealed,
rare.
I mean, there's a chance. But I just say by the time, what is it supposed to be, March, where they stop selling it, there'll probably be like 15 million of them bought or sold. You know, it's like I was like, man, I paid 52 after tax, so I was like, I'll put it to 50. I already made $13 on the first game, so I was like, I'll break it 10 in the positive. You know, I thought for sure I'd immediately get responses and just nothing. Like, it's crazy, but that's what you get. I was trying to be a scalper, and it didn't pan out. But
Well, you're not like one of those scalpers selling PS5s for trying to sell it for
I wonder, does
$1,000,
people actually
1,000.
buy those, or are they just?
I tried to
listed?
scalp during
I don't
Wii U,
know.
got burned like a motherfucker.
Yeah, I got a couple games.
I think I ended up losing $20 and shit.
To be fair, I got a couple of GameCube games that actually go pretty high when I've looked up.
Yeah,
I was surprised Pokemon Coliseum goes as high as it does.
I've done
I was
well
like,
with my
bet.
man.
the GameCube games I sold. I did well. Some of them got more back than what I paid. Others I broke even, I guess, with inflation. I don't know how that worked out, but yeah, I was surprised how well those sales. All I did was Facebook Marketplace. I didn't do any eBay, and made 600.
Somebody wanted us to talk about. It's too late now, but the leaks from
Yeah,
Capcom.
I didn't really want to because there's a few
mean,
things that might.
I don't even know what they are. So
The
We
main-
could talk
the main-
about
the-
the non-spoiler stuff like Monster Hunter
Yeah,
Rise
the main two things
coming to PC.
Yeah, the main two things was like the Monster Hunter Stories, and Monster Hunter Rise getting PC ports, which isn't really too surprising because Capcom has done that shit before. We got exclusives with our console manufacturer. What was it, Resident Evil 4? And then what happened? Oh, it got ported like what was it, like the year later or something? And then the other thing was like Phoenix Wright stuff, like a collection for Phoenix Wright and a final westernization of a game that didn't come out back on the 3DS era. It never got like localized. Which
and that third-party exclusive almost don't even exist anymore. So that's
like
they
at this
barely
point,
exist.
And the question is like, how long? Like, are you gonna put
And
out Rise?
Right.
You're gonna put out Rise now, and then maybe in 6 months.
6 months.
Well, Godfall apparently has got a 6-month time release, but no one's gonna care because that game no one cares about already. Like, I was trying to watch a review, and even the 6-minute review was boring. Let alone, and it sounded like the game was boring.
Which one?
For what?
Godfall. Apparently, it's very shallow.
See, and what was that? Godfall wasn't Godfall the one we were having that debate about because we were like, that game looks boring as shit.
No, we weren't.
Like, or was it the? No, it was the Platinum Games one, wasn't it?
We were talking about the art style.
Babylon Fall. You talking about
Babylon Fall?
Yeah,
Godfall has like 3 different areas. You're just doing the same thing over and over, and it's just there's not much to it.
That shit look bland as hell.
And it's like people are reviewing that instead of Sackboy. You can't find a Sackboy review.
I don't understand why though. At this point,
and it's not like they got overflow. Like it's not like there's a ton of games that came out that they can't get to.
Right. Yeah,
it's like 5 games. You know, they're probably playing Cyberpunk. You know, in anticipation of getting the review done on launch because
the
game's been gold for a while.
Is it gonna get pushed again?
I feel people review games less because they stream them more. So instead of like putting in the effort to do a review, it's like, oh, let's just go on Twitch or YouTube, whatever, just stream the fucking game. Like it's just easier.
Oh, Alana Pierce is gonna go to Santa Monica Studios for a video game writer.
Ooh, Alana Pierce?
Yeah.
Dead?
Of course, Robert Rule 2's first one in there. Very cool. Congratulations.
I'm surprised you will. That's why I said it. I thought
I don't
care.
I didn't see it.
I was notifying you just in case.
That doesn't even look like.
I don't know what she's written.
That photo looks doctored.
She's never been like one of them. Those. I've never cared for her personally.
She's an NPC in Cyberpunk, so.
Oh, whoop de fucking do.
Like
why don't we don't get some Death Stranding shit too?
I like the podcast she does.
She joined she joined the Funhouse crew, and I love watching Funhouse for so many years. They were Inside Gaming and all that, and then she joined Funhouse, but she just left it now for that. So that makes
she's
sense.
only popular because of neck-bearded incels. Thirsty ass neck-bearded incels.
Oh well. I mean, hey, congrats to her, but like, I don't know what the hell she's written.
Don't ruin
before,
anything.
So I'm not too sure.
That's my concern.
I don't know.
And then again, it's modern God of War, so I guess that's all right. That's too late.
Spoiler alert.
I'll take modern God of War.
That would be
way over the original trilogy.
God of War, right?
I'll take one God of War, the new God of War, versus the 3 of the old style ones.
I just wouldn't take any of them. I just think
you never have you played the originals?
I was so uninterested at the time.
I couldn't get over the right analog stick for dodge. It was just the dumbest concept.
Oh, that's the dodge button is the right analog?
Yeah, that's how you dodge in whatever direction.
Oh, what?
You can't move the camera. It was a game of its era. You know, PS2 was really pushing visuals.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't have a lot to compare it to at the time, I don't think.
It didn't hold up. You get to PS3, I expected, them to take it further and not just make a HD version of the same exact gameplay, and I got bored really quick. But anyway, that's gonna wrap it up for this podcast. So anybody, no one here really comment. I'm sure Muhammad got a Xbox Series X, but feel free to let us know if you got a 9th gen console other than the Switch after this week. I seen somebody on Twitter, and I can't remember who it was. Capertone, I think he got one, but he's the only one I really know of that got one. That wasn't just a YouTuber with decent amount of subscribers. So anyway, next week we'll have Hyrule Warriors to talk about. Comes out Friday. Can't wait. I'm excited.
Yeah.
It'll be the first new Switch game I've bought since October 31st, 2019. I don't count 3D All-Stars as a new game.
Well, you're not going to play that.
And I didn't buy it with the intention of playing it, so that's a long time, man.
With the intention of making money.
I bought Hellblade in mid-December last year. That was the last game I actually bought for the Switch. So it's just shy of a year for that, but yeah. So I can't wait to talk to play it, and T, I'm sure you'll play. You didn't play much of the demo, but
nope.
I can't wait to get into that, and it's definitely the Hyrule Warriors I wanted, and not the Hyrule Warriors Retro wanted, so that makes it even better.
What the fuck?
So that means it's good then.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
But anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll be back next week. Do it all again. Bye.